All right, welcome to another edition of Bottom of the Bill. We got Jason Hunnicutt here, one of the owners and operators of 1904 Music Halls, Spliffs, and a couple other places around town. Thanks for being here today, man.
Hey, man. Appreciate it, man. Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming to Riverside, bud.
Yeah, dude. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. So, yeah.
Well, anyways, before we get started, let's cheers.
Yes, we'll do the cheers.
Here we go.
Hey.
You're very classy drinking just straight rye out of a martini glass.
I mean, I got here, and, this is what you guys had in the green room. So, I was like, obviously, like, someone important here was here last night that, that needed a martini glass, but
nobody important is ever But it's nice to have you. I've been wanting to have you on our show for a long time now, and it's the first time that I've seen you since Corona hit. We were about to come out.
That
big,
close,
dude. Like,
that close.
You can laugh all you want to.
I'm not laughing. I'm laughing. You
literally were laughing, but we were about to like crush it. It was sounding good too.
It was sounding good. It was like
with Greenhouse Lounge is what.
Yes, is what we're referring to. Actually, those that don't know, Billy and I are part of a reincarnation of a band called Greenhouse Lounge, which I was a part of a while ago with my buddy Dave McSweeney. And this new effort has our buddy Steve Honig on here as well from
Slays guitar.
Yeah, that boy slays, man. He's in bass too. That guy can
not too shabby to look at. He's a very pretty man.
Very pretty man.
Very pretty.
I get like bits of like like a mixture of like a little bit of Bowie. A little bit of Zappa, a lot of Zappa, when he has like the circle glasses on.
He looks like if Jared Leto decided to actually be a musician. Oh wait, is he already won? Oh man, I feel bad.
Wow,
that
burn.
sucks. That was a burn. I'm coming out with the burns already.
And Steve's an absolute rock star on stage.
Yeah, he's
too.
a rock star.
Have you not seen his power stance when he plays?
Oh,
I mean,
fuck dude.
It's envious. I'm back there on the drums, just like look at it.
That guy screams, "I fuck."
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Steve. If you're watching, I hope you're watching. Like, fuck, I love that guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah,
and he's
I've
so
never
hum-
actually heard Steve scream that. By the way,
he's a great guy. But anyways, yeah, we were rehearsing twice a week at your venue.
Yes,
we'll run into that.
Great free rehearsal studio.
Yeah, no kidding. And good Lord, is it loud? But we would not record. We would rehearse there, and I think we had like 2 tours set up, and
some fall dates,
and some fall, and some festivals that we had, and like some really cool locations and everything. And it's just like bloop, right out the window. Like literally, like that month. It was in April, right?
Yeah,
we were gonna go
April,
on tour, and then it just got
started
out the window.
I mean, the like ironic and non-ironic, but just shitty part is that is such a common story now. Like you talk to a ton of musicians and everybody that was planning big moves in the summer, big moves in the fall, and like there was so much energy everyone had going from this beginning of the year, and everyone's riding high, and and then it's just like the rug pulled out from under you like that is definitely, it's tough, man. We're all.
It's very tough. We and Side Hustle had a lot of a ton. Like we were booked like solid the rest of the year and everything.
That was not a side hustle. That was a full-time main hustle.
Yeah, that's the name of our new band. We're gonna rebrand. We're gonna be called
Full-Time
Hustle.
Yeah, we were doing our friend's album release party at the Asheville Music Hall.
That was the last big show we played.
Yeah, we were supposed to do the Evening Muse in Charlotte for their album release. We were doing like a little tour of the Carolinas with them for the album release party.
Which band?
Andrew Scott and River Rats. Yeah, we were supposed to do that with them.
And then we were gonna go out west and play with the Quickening in New Orleans and everything like that, and just bloop.
Yeah, but we actually had a show. I'm pretty sure with you guys in the books too. With Andrew Scotch and the River Rats and them Vagabonds. It was because we were doing
May or June or something like that. Yeah.
We were doing a Florida leg with them.
Greenhouse?
No, with
at 1904.
Yeah, 1904. Yep.
Sorry, I'm so confused. He's just such a Renaissance man. He's got his hand in everything.
We do. I think that's like part of. I think that what keeps me motivated is I'm never satisfied with one thing.
Yeah, you do always everything. Man.
I'm like I don't know. I don't say jack of all trades, but I just like I try shit. I don't know. I'm like always, hey, like I might, fail into success with something. You never know until you try,
Absolutely.
So,
it's like it's never worth not trying. You
never.
know what I mean?
No, never. I think with anything in life, man, it's definitely like, music, careers, love. Hey, bye. Hey, babe. Just want to say hey to my wife, Heather.
He's
She's
very,
watching.
very happily married man.
But yeah, you just can never stay satisfied, I think, with anything in life, and that just keeps you motivated and going.
100%, man.
Yeah.
So what got you started playing music or just into music in the first place?
I mean, just grew up around music. Always, born in '84, so grew up with MTV and going up to the Coconut Records by my grandma's house, getting tapes, and I remember my first tape I got was the Batman soundtrack, '89 that Prince did.
Nice.
So
yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Which one was Kiss from a Rose? That's not the
Oh, that
original
was
one?
Batman Forever.
That was Batman
Forever. That was Val. That was Val
He covers
Kilmer.
that, and that shit is hilarious.
Dude,
to see.
that would
love it.
Dude, that
No,
would
people love it, but
crush, man.
whenever we go to I go see him at a show that he does it, I just just mouth the words at him. It's fucking
It's
hilarious.
very awkward, yeah.
Just eyeball. Just
What happened to Seal? He wrote like one banger, and then that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
He didn't write any more songs.
I mean, he got married to Heidi Klum.
Heidi
dude.
Klum.
I
He
mean,
doesn't need to-
Supermodel.
He doesn't need to try anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's done.
It's a wrap.
What do we do this for?
Married
Yeah.
up, yeah, exactly. I mean,
But anyway,
what a
sorry.
groupie. I mean,
Well, yeah. Is
Heidi Klum?
Heidi Klum's not a groupie. That is top shelf.
Yeah.
But anyways, so you were going to Coconut Records.
Going to Coconut Records when I was a kid, yeah, listening to buying tapes and just listening to music. And I think at 10, I convinced my dad. Well, actually, at 10, I joined band. I was actually living in Dallas at the time, and I joined the school band. And it's like where they go. I didn't know what I wanted to play, so they like bring in all the instruments and they let all the kids try everything. Of course, it's like pre-COVID. Everybody's mouths are all on the different reeds.
I
and
remember
like
doing that too.
yeah. So I tried saxophone, couldn't figure out. Trumpet. Goddamn, I couldn't figure out how to hold my mouth on the the mouthpiece. But snare drum, I was like, well, this is fun, and like I was kind of like, good at it. So got the snare drum, and that was the first year of school band when I was in 5th grade, and that Christmas convinced my folks to get me a drum set, and it was like game over from there. So I had the drum set in my room, and then my stepdad worked for Bose speaker companies back in the day. Yeah,
Oh, shit.
yeah. He was like some type of sales rep. I didn't realize how up he was, but he would go with like Circuit Cities and set up like their displays and
remember
like
Circuit City.
or what was the other one? Like the
Radio Shack?
Advanced or sound advice.
Sound advice.
Sound advice.
Yeah, I remember that
I
shit.
don't remember that at all.
It was like
Didn't
home
happen in
theater,
Kentucky, I guess.
and like car stereos and.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so he set me up with these like big ass gigantic Bose speakers that obviously like I turned up way too loud, and all I would do is I would put on the CDs or whatever I wanted to like play along to, and I would turn it up just fucking full blast. And I'm sure that started out I wasn't playing along, but eventually like by ear I just kind of like picked up like different things and like different styles, and like that was kind of like the beginning of playing an instrument from there. And then a couple years later, middle school, it's like, oh, let's be in a punk band, Blink-182. Like I think our first band, actually McSweeney was in my first.
I was gonna ask you.
My first high school band, McSweeney was in. It was called Switch 26.
Switch 26.
Switch 26.
We should bring that
Yeah.
back.
What does that mean?
I'd love to play one of those
I have
songs.
no idea. I think I don't even remember. I don't even remember. No, I don't remember.
I'm
I
sure
think it was
Dave-
like
Dave could tell.
Dave might have a story, but I think it was one of those random name numbers because there was like Inspection 12, Blink-182.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's
and it's
funny.
like
Sum 41.
Psalm 41. Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Like
We should put some numbers in our name, man. It seems like that's how you get famous. man.
Side Hustle 69.
Eiffel 65.
Oh. Eiffel 65.
That's a good
What was
one.
that song?
I'm blue.
Yeah.
Dabba dee dabba da.
Yeah,
Dabba dee dabba da. Dabba dee dabba da.
I always heard it was if I was green I would die.
That's not how it goes.
That's what I heard.
That's not it, though.
That's not it. Oh, okay.
That's what I was gonna ask you. When you meet McSweeney? I call him McSwooney.
McSwooney.
He sweeps me off my feet.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
It's
too.
his eyes, man. It's something about it. They're just
so
they're
intense
intense.
all the
They're
time.
intense. Yeah, no,
Well,
I met
love him to
Dave
death.
actually at through a mutual friend when I was in middle school, or I went to Sacred Heart Catholic School, and he was in soccer with a buddy of mine. He went to St. Matthew's Catholic School, and then we ended up linking up at Bishop Kinney. I went to Bishop Kinney for 2 years, and then went to graduate from Paxson. But that year at Bishop Kinney was when when we formed the Switch 26 band, and we
Right,
came
I'm
in
not
we
gonna lie,
came
we weren't.
we came in third place at the Battle of the Bands.
Ugh,
That year.
yeah,
It was
rough.
It was hey, we placed, man. We medaled.
Yeah, you placed or
We
whatever.
medaled.
So then, when did you start Greenhouse then, or did you have
Yeah,
anything
Greenhouse
else
at
before
Greenhouse.
that?
No, Greenhouse was actually that was with Dave too.
Right,
Okay,
but
get
I
away
mean,
from
like-
playing music with Dave, but but no, Dave actually came back from college. It was 05. He came back from college at UCF, and a mutual friend of ours was working at a hydroponic store here with two other dudes, Ryan and Dwayne, who are brothers, and so they were looking to jam, and Dave was in town. They needed a bass player and a drummer, and me and Dave, we were already we would just get up and jam. I actually had a like shed at my house that was like fully soundproof with carpet padding, and we'd just be as loud as shit. So we would just jam, and then so these guys want to get up and make some music, and one of them played the steel pan, and the other one played the guitar.
I remember.
Yeah, and
I
so
totally forgot
like
about that,
it
though.
was it was a very short-lived part of Greenhouse Lounge where it was like
It was
the
cool.
formula was 2/4 reggae that dropped into drum and bass that finished in 2/4 reggae,
With a steel
with
drummer.
a steel drum
That's
and
awesome.
like a bunch of like this is like when Ableton was just coming out, so it was like Ableton version 3,
Yeah.
and so like we were like being able to like loop and trigger stuff like MIDI, so yeah, we were just like getting fucking really baked and getting weird with like these sequences, and then and eventually the sound got a little better than just kind of like 2/4 reggae drum and bass, 2/4 reggae drum and bass.
And that's why you call it Greenhouse Lounge, because of the hydroponic store.
Yeah, because it was basically like it was like
Sometimes it's like such easy explanations.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, that's it. Oh,
that's
okay.
it. Yeah, it was
So I was
like-
trying to figure that out for
yeah,
years.
well, yeah.
But now I
Well,
know.
there is a Greenhouse Lounge bar in New Amsterdam. I'm
makes
like,
sense.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's
damn,
what I
dude,
thought it was.
that's like that's epic. Well, it was kind of like I think the first incarnation of the name was Ataraxis, which
Ataraxis.
Yeah, which is
Dave came up with that.
no, actually, I think Ryan came up with that one. He
Okay,
was
never
like
mind.
on
just
thesaurus.com
kidding,
looking at words, and this word meant like like calming sense of like peace and relaxation. You're
Ataraxis.
you're in a
That's a cool
state of
name.
ataraxis.
That's a
well,
dope name.
you tell it to someone, no one's gonna remember that.
Right.
Like that band Atomizer. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
so
That's a
no
good
one was
name,
really
too.
picking up on that name, and that's when like we were like, as every fucking band does, it's like band meeting, name change now.
Yeah.
What do you want? That name sucks.
We went through that. Do you know what we were called before Side Hustle?
We
We were called. We were called the
angry band leader.
Yeah. It was.
Love that.
I love my name so much. Let's put it on everything.
It was
The
more of
Anton LaPlume Band,
Yeah.
or was it like Dave Matthews, where it was just Anton LaPlume Band?
Depends who you asked, actually. But
Awful band name.
I actually wasn't creative enough to think of a band name, so it was just like I moved to
Kel
Jacksonville
fucking Supreme.
and didn't have an idea for a band name. It was just like, well, my name's Anton LaPlume. Let's just call it this for right now until we figure something out. And then it was like it
You
just
figured
we
something
never
You know what?
figured something out.
As like someone that books the bands, and like if it's a newer band to town, that's a great strategy, because like tell me your band
Yeah.
name and your name, like I got two things to remember. But now it's like Anton LaPlume Band. I go talk to the guy who I'm dealing with. Now I don't got, of course it's Anton. Like
Right.
it's the name of the band.
Right.
That
You know,
makes-
unless that's
that
not
makes
unless that's
sense.
not your name, and then that would be awkward.
That would be weird.
I've always
Like-
found it super awkward.
Like, no, my name's Mike. I don't know who Anton is.
Well, that's the thing. It's like,
it's like your alter ego, Like
Well,
Trying to be
Anton.
Well, like when bands name themselves after names, like Leonard Skinner, Humphreys McGee. It's like there's bands like that where they just it's like I thought that was somebody in the band.
Or which one's Pink?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Which,
Pink
who's Pink?
Floyd.
Right.
Well, shit, we were called Lucky Costello. Everybody thought it was an Elvis Costello cover band. I'm like, no,
Elvis
dude.
That's
Costello cover
We
band.
got that a lot.
That's a good.
I'm like,
Elvis
yes,
Costello
we
cover
are.
band, though.
Come to our show. That's what I would always say. Like, yeah, if you love Elvis Costello, you're gonna love us.
Yeah.
Just fucking 1 hour of just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of name origins, how did Lucky Costello?
So we were like obsessed with.
I think the first time I saw you guys was at Brandon's house. Was at that New Year's party.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was like your
deep-
second
that's a
show.
deep
That was-
I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
But the way we came up with it, we were obsessed with Gangland and like all the that show that was on A&E for a while, and Lucky Luciano and Frank Costello were like these like mob bosses back in the day, and we were like Lucky Costello. That sounds dope.
That's a pretty great
That's
name.
a good band name.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good band name.
And didn't Jerry wear a fedora a lot?
No, he would never wear a fedora.
Sorry, Jerry. Adam, but yeah.
Adam wore a fedora everywhere and sunglasses.
Yeah.
That's
gangster. It's gangster.
He looked like he was a spy.
Or a drummer, because drummers do that too. You ever That Thing You Do? Remember that movie?
No.
That's
no,
the 50s, man.
I actually watched. It's the 60s. It's actually I believe
60s.
64.
I was thinking about the movie when we were driving back.
I watched that movie the other night, like a week ago. I love
That Thing You Do?
I love that movie.
One of my
dude.
favorite movies
I
of all
love that movie,
time,
bro.
And but they made him Tom Hanks makes him wear sunglasses.
Shades.
Yeah.
Shades, bro. We
Yep.
love shades. That movie was man. And then what's his name? Ian Zahn or
Oh no. Zahn. Fuck.
he was in Treme on
Treme, yep,
HBO.
yep.
That guy can actually. I guess they all learned how to play instruments too.
They all
Like,
did, yeah. Which is
then
crazy to think
Ethan,
about.
What's his name? Is the bass player? Doesn't even have a name.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the credits show him as the bass player. Like
He quits the band to
Accurate.
go hang out with some chick he meets on the road and just like join the
Chick,
military.
dude.
Yeah,
Join the
No,
military.
join the
Yeah,
Marines.
but
Yeah, the Marines.
the other guy marries a playmate in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that was Steve Zahn.
Steve
Steve
Zahn,
Zahn.
yes.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
he won. I think he won that movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it worked out for him.
I mean,
Yeah.
Shades got Liv Tyler in the end, which is a win.
That's a big win.
But
I
that's a
forgot
lot.
Liv
That's a lot.
Tyler's
That's
in
a
that
lot.
movie, too.
That's a lot to deal with. It seems like as far as happiness level. Yeah.
But that was it. Everybody else fell away, but then the structure, like the backbone of the band, the fucking drummer.
The drummer, yeah.
The drummer fucking
Yeah,
becomes
he's
a
there.
studio musician
Yeah.
in L.A.
That's right. Yeah.
Did you know that Liv Tyler didn't
Is it
know
Lord
till
of the
later
Rings?
on that Steven Tyler was her dad, and she had a major crush on him growing up and had posters all over her wall.
Wow.
And found out later on that was actually her dad.
What?
Wow.
Isn't that crazy story?
She didn't know that he was her dad?
Yeah.
Man.
Really?
It's a pretty wild story, huh?
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, fun little facts we were talking
Some
about.
factoids.
Tyler
All
briefly.
right, where were we?
Briefly.
Greenhouse
Yeah,
Lounge.
so 05, did some stuff. It was more of like the reggae incarnation, and then the kind of transformed into a electronic thing when we got Brandon in the band. We became a 5-piece. So
I miss him.
Yeah, shout out Brandon Wilkinson out in Colorado, doing his thing with his beautiful wife, and I think he's in real estate.
Real estate, yeah. My good friend of mine, Terry Greenman, he moved out that way and is still friends with him out there. And
Nice.
so I had like a
I'm
tab on Brandon.
I'm
Once he's
sure
doing
they all
everything
meet
like
up
that.
at the yearly Bisco show, and Brandon's
Oh
there.
my God, he's my favorite. They'll go to Biscuit shows, and he's standing in the crowd with a fucking notebook writing down the set list.
That's awesome.
I fucking love Brandon. He's the best.
I mean, he would literally that one was inverted times
Yep.
back. Nope. And then
I still got him in my phone as Bisco Brandon.
Bisco Brandon.
But
Nice.
anyways, I
So
haven't
it's-
seen him in years.
Yeah. So it was great making music with him because that was definitely brought it more on that electronic and that live jamtronic tip.
And he played
which,
played keys. Yeah,
he played keys, which really kind of like like I said, really kind of.
kind of need that in electronic.
You kind of need that. Definitely, you can only sample so many keys before it's like, someone that actually knows what they're doing.
Or
Yeah.
you don't need it in electronic. Really, you just have Ableton or an APC. You know what I mean? Just push samples and stuff like that,
Right.
and it works just the same. But
Well, Billy, because by the time I moved to Jacksonville, Greenhouse Lounge was kind of breaking
We were
up.
done, yeah.
So Billy credits you guys with kind of starting the electronic jam scene.
Jamtronic is
or at least being one of the first bands to kind of break out of here.
Definitely
with
the
it.
biggest.
What was that experience like? What
It
was
was-
Jacksonville
it was-
before that? Actually,
It was crazy, man. Because actually, I've talked to a few people about that. Like that time, like into the early aughts, the 05 to kind of 2010 time was like Jax was like what you would think it was like a bunch of like heavy metal rock bands and like which are great. We churn out some awesome metal music here in this town.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
actually fucking love Shinedown. Shout out Shinedown. Like they I know as
I broke up with the girl because that was her favorite band.
as cringy as some people find them, I find their songs very catchy and
They are catchy,
and
yeah.
endearing. They are like the
Tattooed on
quintessential.
her side, though, the lyrics. Okay, anyways,
But
keep
yeah,
going.
so we turn out some rock and roll, and another thing we were turning out was a lot of like reggae, like 2/4 reggae, Sublime cover band kind of vibe, and that's what Jack's Beach was. And then like when we kind of started doing that, and then Lucky Costello they kind of came on the scene as well.
Yup.
And then
Spore.
Spore, they came on. And who was
It was us. It was the big three
it was
right
Big
there.
Mo. No, you got. But you also had.
Don't need to listen to any more bands. No, I'm just kidding.
Man, it was
Cheesy T was there too.
Cheesy T, but also man, I'm trying to think. It was Max's old band, the duo.
Oh, Luma Grove.
Luma Grove.
Because
man.
Pockets used to manage
them too?
Lucky and Luma
Luma?
Grove. It was a lot of fun.
Nice, yeah, dude. Luma Grove was great, dude. I mean, obviously, like Max is doing
It's
fun stuff.
With Trail Diver, Max was in Side Hustle, and then he left, and he was like, I know a good keyboardist, and I took his position.
Nice.
Isn't that weird?
Nice. That's awesome.
But yeah, that's what we were wondering, because I came here in 2004, and I was 15. And I wasn't in the music scene at all. I was in high school, a Christian high school. It was real nice, called Providence. You should check it out, or never send your kids there. But I would say I was there, and I never really knew about music going on. But then, like right around 18 or 19, that's when like the Jamtronica stuff kind of happened. I know you guys were around first.
Well, yeah, it was also kind of coincide too with like the rise of like dubstep.
Yeah.
And like Vlad was doing.
2009.
Yeah, Vlad was doing over over at like TSI with like
Yes.
Crunchy Sunday.
Yeah, that was
so
the
you had
best.
like this like you had like this kind of like amalgamation of like these like hippie beachy kind of reggae fans, these like new like EDM dubstep fans, and then like kind of your like jam kind of jam festival kind of fans and groups, and everybody just started kind of coming together, and like it would as far as like what Jax would start to do too, like because Freebird was open then, and we would kind of like get a lot of these regional bands like Zugma to come through, or like Arch Nemesis, like a lot of these kind of like bands in the southeast. EP3 from Atlanta.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, we were, and then like there's a lot of like other like auxiliary things too, like Aura down in like Central Florida.
Right.
Daryl
Awesome.
started doing Aura,
Yeah, man.
and then like Charlie Bilsker in Gainesville.
Yup.
Julia Stewart in Tampa.
Yup.
And then Trey was up here with like Passion Project. So I mean, it was kind of just like a cool, organic, like everybody just kind
It
of
was awesome.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the fuck happened? No, I'm just kidding.
Bass Nectar.
Yeah.
Bass Nectar
Fuck you,
ruined
Bass
it.
Nectar.
Skrillex won 9 Grammys in 1 year.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how like just like the ups and downs of like music or whatever, but like that's got to be like the weirdest, like just straight to the top kind of situation. 9 Grammys.
Yeah. He definitely put
For one
dubstep on
album?
he definitely put dubstep on the map internationally. You
And
know what I mean?
as fast as it came, it fucking left the same way.
It's definitely a fad.
I don't know. Actually, I would take that back. There is a tried and true. I would call it almost like a backlash to this whole EDM house thing now. Like every DJ now is a fucking house.
Yeah.
I love house DJs.
Me
House
too.
DJs are my fan. My friends love it. But
You like Boogie
but
Shade?
every single DJ is spinning house music, and there's only so much boots and cats, and you can like keep going.
There's never enough.
I mean,
I
don't know, but
I'm with
there
you,
is a
Jason, yeah.
backlash of this. They call it broken beat, so it's more stuff like dubstep, jungle, drum and bass, break beats, and it's like there's like just faction. I mean, I'm sure like every genre of music obviously has their subgenres and factions, and like it's funny though that like dubstep is like now a stronghold. Like it's like, hey, if you're in a dubstep, you don't listen to house,
Right.
or like
Like
it's got like
weird
You can
cultures.
listen to all the genres.
I mean, that's what
I love house music.
I just call it techno.
Yeah,
like
I
it's just
listen-
techno. Or just
Yeah.
Somebody listen to techno.
We're just
Never
listening
know. I listen to house music and electronic music, and then I'll put on Hank Williams for 2 hours, dude. That's my favorite.
It's important to listen to everything as a musician.
I think it is. I really do think it is. It's have a very wide palette. I think just same thing with like the business and booking too, is just having a wide palette of music to showcase and bring through, instead of relying on that same jam crowd come through every single Friday night. Like that just you can't rely on that.
Bad model. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
you can't be picky if you're a venue owner. You gotta
well,
be open.
you can though, and there's some venues that do run it like that, and like props to them, and to anyone that has like a defined like style, philosophy, vibe, or whatever you're trying to go for, and that's definitely that's one way, one model to do it. And like some cities you have to do that because there's so much other shit going on.
Exactly.
You have to dial it in.
Oh, that is true.
You know,
if you're working in bigger markets, I would imagine it's much easier to have that kind of philosophy because the market is so big.
Yeah,
right?
everybody has a band. Everybody's playing there. It's like
Exactly.
it's like overload.
Whereas Jacksonville has a great scene, but population-wise, as far as the metropolitan cities go, it's a small market.
It is.
you know?
It's definitely a it's a mid-level market. It's definitely not your top tier, not even your second tier. It's you're not bottom of the bill, but you're like but you're like you're like you're a C market, in which you can't you have to kind of cater, and like I said, to cater to what what's available, what people want to go to, and like say goth 6 nights a week.
Industrial night.
Goth industrial, yeah, exactly 6 nights a week.
I'm in.
Like, I don't know, like all the face masks. There's a shortage now. I don't know how that's gonna work.
Right,
I don't
that's
know.
true.
But you just can't, but like a goth night once a month's fucking awesome because same thing with like our emo night.
Yeah, emo night. I was about to say,
great.
I hate that music.
I totally appreciate that, dude. Like that's
my opinion. I hated it when I was in high school, though.
Is that a hot take? Or
it's not even a hot take. I guess a lot of people
personal,
do too.
Yeah.
But it's weird. It's like either you hate it or you fucking love it. Those people that listen to like Under Oath and The Used and all that crap. I'm just like, I remember being in high school and be like, I can't be around here. I'm not.
I liked it back then.
I'm not gonna be in a mosh pit. No.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it back then.
I was actually in a mosh pit about a year or two ago up at Mavericks at the Descendants show. Shout out to
that's punk music.
Shout out to the Descendants.
Yeah,
They're amazing. Like thankfully, like I was one of the youngest people in the mosh pit. It was like everyone's like 40 plus. So I'm like, I got this. Like, but Tim Hall booked it, and he's like he texted me like 5 minutes later. He's like, were you just in a mosh pit? And I was like, yeah, man. It's like, I swear to God, I look down and I just see Jason Hunnicutt's blonde hair just swirling around in this like pit of people. And I was like, yeah, that was me. They played Coffee Mug. That's my jam.
Yeah. Yeah, that and Black Flag is like the exact same crowd.
We had Black Flag actually at 1904 earlier this year. It was Mike Valley was singing. It wasn't Henry
no
Rollins.
offense or anything like that. Like, obviously, that's amazing still, like all the musicians and everything like that, except for Henry Rollins. But like, so much history, just like holy fuck, it's Black Flag.
Yeah.
Play with Iggy Pop and everything. Like, whatever.
So this is actually a good segue because what kind of got you started? What made you want to get involved in running a music venue, owning a music venue?
It originally actually started out as a side hustle.
Oh, really?
But it did.
Dropping them all
day, dude?
I got them all day, y'all.
We got a drum set set up over here. We'll give you a rim shot.
Oh. No, so it started out as just something that we kind of saw. Myself, 2 other friends, we all had day jobs, and we're all musicians, and in the obviously the music scene in some way or another, or in the bar scene, and particularly for downtown Jacksonville, Springfield as well. Actually, we were looking to open originally in Springfield, where the current 6th and Main Brewing is at. That was actually going to be that was going to be the original 1904. We were actually talking to them about that, started negotiating the lease, and then we stumbled on this place downtown, thankfully. But yeah, so we just wanted to open up a spot, and like we all had 10 grand. That was like the hey, we all chip in 10 grand, and it was DIY from the start. Half the gear was like broken gear from Greenhouse Lounge that wasn't getting used. A lot of stuff like we obviously upcycled a lot of the furniture, and when we opened, we had literally like 3 beers. Like it was like
wow.
it was like bare bones, but like
you did all the construction work.
We did a lot of.
I remember watching all the posters that you put on Facebook.
Yeah, did a lot of it DIY, man. And like our landlord was like cool, with us, it's like, hey, as long as you guys pay rent, I don't care what you do in here, like just pay my rent on time. We're like, all right, cool. So like, we just took some, about 3 months to just gut everything, rip it out. And we were doing it on our, nights off. We would get off work 5 o'clock and go there, put a few hours and, demo and stuff or paint something.
Themselves, man.
Yeah.
Great.
And then we would actually, the worst part was, so that the hydroponic store we had across the bridge there over off the beach, we ended up, because we we didn't want to put a big roll-off dumpster out front to draw a lot of attention to, the work we were doing. So we would literally fill up about like 5 to 10 trash cans every night and drive them across the bridge to the hydroponic store to the dumpster over there and dump all the construction debris in there just to keep it low key, so that there wasn't like a big construction.
That's
like
some paranoia right there. For sure.
I
understand. Though. People break in and steal your tools and everything like that.
Oh no, or obviously like the city shows up and you don't have license. What did I say about failing into success?
Not regulate it?
Well, say it is now. It is now. After the fact,
you gotta break a couple rules.
You got to do
this
some.
This isn't a gotcha podcast.
Hey,
yeah, right.
But so that's essentially what 1904 started out as, just kind of a DIY space. We were kind of like, we needed another venue. Freebird was obviously getting very much booked up, and there really wasn't a lot of other cool spaces in town to see shows. And again, with like the network we kind of developed over the last the previous years of the festivals and the tours and support acts and just the relationships you build. And I was like, hey, we now have all these bands that we know, other promoters in other cities. Let's try to connect all the dots, and it's kind of just how we started.
You see it, man. It's grown.
Yeah, it has grown a lot.
I remember y'all opened up when Freebird was still around.
Yep.
And I didn't ever feel like it was like you guys were competing with each other, because this city is so big.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You're 30 miles away from it. Either
30 miles away.
You go to the beach, or you're gonna go downtown, but there was nothing downtown before y'all.
Yeah, it was pretty desolate. I mean,
you got Jackrabbits and San Marco and everything like that, but like literally, like you're in the heart, like right off of Main Street Bridge.
Right there, yeah, right in the heart.
It's been amazing. I love playing there. Every single time I go there, I'm like, I wish I had counted how many times I played it.
I mean, that's like the whole idea too of like, is it like the venue, I think, and behind it is like, it's a musician's venue.
Yeah.
I'm a musician, and like everybody else, when we started, a lot of people that work there are all musicians, or and like for me, like having like a monitor that's broken, that's like unacceptable. Like the little shit like that, like like I would just think about like the times or venues I would play at that are like doing it right or that are doing it wrong, and like, hey, we got to do it right. And then that's just it just kind of like, people remember that, definitely it lasts, it carries through time. I think you keep it consistent like that.
And it's never stopped growing either. Like we
opened Spliffs in 2015, the restaurant.
Yeah.
It just moved Spliffs
and then
5 days ago. Moved it.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thanks, man.
And remodeled the patio. I remember going to the patio and it was just mulch.
Yeah, the patio was.
And there was no stage or no awning.
There was nothing.
I played that for New Year's. I think like the first year.
That's right. We put a little box. We built like a wooden box.
That's awesome. It was that's what we played on.
Not much of a stage.
No, it was great. And Spliffs wasn't there either.
I'll never forget like the first couple like month or two we were open. It was like an art walk or something, and like art walks downtown were like a big thing. And so like we were kind of like part of it. Like it was like we were a new venue, and like there was like some like like people that were there very finely dressed. Like out for art walk, and like checking out this new, this new nightclub that opened up, and like we were sitting there telling her about it, and then Dwayne, my partner, was telling the woman like, hey, we have a great outdoor space out in the back patio, blah blah blah. This is before we did like anything. This is like it was just literally like it was like dirt, it was trash. This is where people parked. There was like I'm sure some needles.
There was
no fence. It was disgusting, and that's obviously too like the back sketch area. Everybody just all the hippies would go back there and smoke pot. So like the girl's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go check out this outdoor. I think he called it an outdoor courtyard is like what he called it. And like she opens it up. There's no lighting. There's no lights at all. I think we had like 2 tiki torches.
Oh my God.
Like so there's no lighting, and like she like walks around, I guess, out there for a minute, and she comes back out there. She comes back in, and Dwayne's like, just like there. It's like, hey, so what'd you think of our courtyard space? Well, she's like, that is a rape alley. like I just looked at her, I was like, what? She's like, I walk back there. There's just a bunch of people standing around smoking pot, and there was a girl squatting, taking a piss in the corner.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave. we're like, oh, I guess that's not really a outdoor courtyard per se, but that changed. You know,
I know. Like I was gonna say, like because I remember playing there like right when it opened and everything like that, and just watching it grow and change and everything like that. You weren't there from the beginning, Anton, but like it was. I'm not saying it was bad at the beginning. It was still awesome, and I was just like, yes, fucking a venue, like a new venue, and it's like an awesome venue, and like, no offense, like a young musician is fucking starting a venue. That's awesome. And so they're gonna have amazing shows, and that's what happened. And they had, it just kept on growing and growing and growing.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, we started
awesome.
out with like just like a shitty sound system, and then like every couple months we would just reinvest, and that's part of the reason I still drive a 2003 Toyota Tacoma.
Fucking love it, man.
Putting
I was
all
wondering,
my,
is that Jason driving that?
I keep putting all my money back into my fucking business.
Hey, a Toyota
it
pickup
don't die.
isn't bad.
It doesn't die,
No,
but you know
it's a
but
Toyota.
that's,
It won't ever
but
die.
that's like one of the things we just consistently have done is like reinvest, regrow, and like I mean, thankfully now, like obviously it's a pandemic and everything, but the fact that we've reinvested in the business and not pulled everything we could out of it, put it just strip it essentially, like it's gonna allow us to maintain through hopefully through next year.
That's interesting to me. So I'm not trying to be rude by any means. So you haven't had any shows really?
We had one show in June with Dustin Monk.
I don't know who that is.
Dustin Monk and the Hustle.
And the Hustle,
I do know who they are.
Yeah, they're actually really good. I don't know
if
he's amazing.
He's a great singer.
Yeah, great singer,
I'm just
man.
teasing,
Amazing singer. He's on The Voice.
He actually sat in with us at Monkeys one night.
Oh yeah. So
he's a good guy.
Sean Pathman plays keys with him. I don't know Sean.
Yeah.
Sean is a bad motherfucker, dude. Yeah, that guy.
I feel bad. I don't know.
You should get with Sean.
But I was asking.
Well, one show was them, and that was it. And then we were like, okay, cool, we're back open. It's June.
Yeah.
And so I started to book July.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. Start booking July, and we had like the Thursday, Friday, Saturdays all booked out. Probably about like 15 shows for July, and then at the end of June, they're like, oh, numbers are spiking, bars shut down. No. So we had to cancel all of July,
But that's what I was wondering. Like, even through all these cancellations and stuff, you decided to take over that business, or not business, but that building. That's
in
right
the corner.
Next to you. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's been in the plans for 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that place has been closed. We actually made an offer to the guy that was in there to even go into business with him, make him a silent partner. Because we were like, we have a cool concept for this. We can fill the space. They weren't using it. They weren't,
I can't wait to go.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the menu's great. The layout's awesome.
Wait, did you change the menu?
We added burgers to the menu. So the menu.
But you didn't.
No, the same menu. We actually brought back some
that
classic.
macaroni and cheese is
the
best.
We brought in some classics. Brought back this bacon, spinach, tomato, grilled cheese.
Oh,
We brought that back. And just just get to play. It's a bigger kitchen, It's a huge flat top, so that's why we added the burgers, because we're like, it's like, do we add a fryer? Because we didn't have a fryer at the old Spliffs, nothing was fried, and it's like we had this tiny little flat top, and it's like, well, we can add another fryer, work with this tiny little flat top, and then we just have a tiny fryer, a tiny flat top, and like a tiny burner situation. So we're like, no, we're just need a gigantic flat top. So it doesn't allow us to, we were talking about doing breakfast maybe too on like Saturday, Sundays, doing like a brunch. Something like that.
Wait, man. And it's open now, right?
It's open. Yeah. We got open last Thursday. So we're kind of soft reopening.
Right over the bridge, bro.
Right over the bridge, bro. We're here for you. And we're up till 1:30. 1:30, 7 nights a week.
I'll see you soon.
And so now the goal is to get Old Spliffs.
I was wondering, what are you gonna do with that?
That's gonna be Headroom. It's a coffee bar concept. So.
What?
Yeah.
What's a coffee bar?
So it's essentially a bar with an espresso machine.
Do you drink whiskey in the coffee?
You can. So that's going to be kind of the
Irish coffee. That's what they call it?
That's going to be like the menu. All the house cocktails are going to have some form of coffee in it.
That's awesome.
So it'll be like cold brew coffee. Like we were doing that already at Spliffs. We had that cold brew on tap, and we were making these things called Duval Speedballs. And it was the cold brew coffee with espresso rum from Marlin and Barrel.
Fuck, that's the
sounds
that's the
like a
best
speedball
fucking
right
name I've ever heard.
Duval Speedball. It was local coffee, local rum. Hey, that's
Album
awesome.
name?
Duval's
Duval's
People.
People.
We're trying to.
That sounds like a secret track to me.
No, yeah, we've been trying to come up with a band name.
Get Aaron on the double bass. Just
Duval's
Speedball. Yeah, for sure. We're not heavy enough to be called Duval Speedball. But fucking A, that's a great band.
Yeah, that's a great band name. Yeah, I love that.
Well,
But
that's
yeah,
awesome, man.
So yeah, so it'll be more a coffee vibe, like a little healthier food options too. We're bringing Cassie from Spliffs, our head chef, bring her over there,
Cool.
and it's gonna be less cheese and carbs, more like panini, salads, wraps, charcuterie boards, tapas.
Hell
I'm in,
Coffee.
dude.
Yeah,
Crushing it.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I did want to ask you one of the businesses that I said that you were that I didn't mention directly because I didn't know what was going on 100% right now with the climate, but Underbelly, you guys invested in
Underbelly
that as well.
is still on the books, so that actually, luckily, our landlord with that is being really cool, and they're kind of working with us on the lease, so we're not on the hook right now for paying rent for something that we can't even really work out of.
Right.
I mean, we signed this lease under, obviously the pretense we're going to be opening up a live music venue, and right when we start to work on it and get it open, or start to work on it, they say no live music. So they're cool. They're really understandable, and they're actually right now currently putting in a fire sprinkler system in the whole building because part of us going into the space, making it keeping the stage and making it a concert venue that big, I guess they're having to add a sprinkler system. So the Chop House is actually being really cool. There's kind of a shared space, the building next to them.
Okay.
So their water line, they're letting the sprinkler company tap into that. So it's like a quick process. So the landlord's taking care of all that. And then we're thinking, maybe October, November, we'll be able to have some concerts in there.
Hell yeah.
Fingers crossed.
for sure.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Everybody keeps their masks on and their, tongues out of each other's faces. And,
Right.
Yeah.
So when you first started, when your initial vision with 1904, were you envisioning kind of like taking over that whole strip?
No,
of,
not at all.
downtown,
Not at all.
or
Kinda like
just
the
kind
Monopoly man in that fucking block
eventually,
right now.
eventually it happens, and like.
So what happened with that? Why'd you decide to take that route?
A few years ago, kind of like some of the other bars around there started to close, and there was kind of this dip, and like the energy for downtown, like kind of like, 2012, 13, there was this big hype. Because we were open, Underbelly was open with its old owners, and the Burrow Bar was open one block up.
Yeah,
and there was this really cool synergy between Burrow, us, Underbelly. Everybody was, it was live music oriented.
Walk up and down
Yeah,
the
you walk up
street.
and down. Chomp Chomp was another restaurant.
dude,
that's
that
right there.
restaurant was great.
Yeah, and then there was some little bars popping up, and so it kind of started to kind of come together. And then I don't know, man. Like it seems like the One Spark thing happened, and there was this big hype for downtown, and then people kind of were just over it. I don't know. Maybe Jacksonville, maybe downtown never really delivered on the hype that One Spark created. Because were you here? Do you guys live? You lived here.
Yeah, I
Did you-
remember
were you around?
One Spark.
One Spark. There was I think I got the year I moved here. There was one, and then it just went away after that.
Yeah.
I moved
So
here
never
and
when-
that was probably like the last one they actually did.
It was a great idea.
That's
though.
what
So
I've heard,
it was
yeah.
it was a crowdfunding festival. The whole idea is like you have creators that are creating art, music, science, technology, all these things, and it's like you come together in the city, and it's a festival where they share their ideas with potential backers, so that you could donate money personally, individually, and there was also like a pie that you could vote on, and then each of these
It was
creators
like a
could
Shark Tank festival. basically.
kind of
cool.
yeah,
It was
and
really- it
and there was
really
a lot of
awesome.
hype, and the first one was amazing. The city had never done anything like that, like to see that many hundreds of thousands of people in downtown Jacksonville, walking around, and it was like this is like fucking like San Francisco, or it was crazy, and
It was awesome.
and I think there was and there's some effort too, obviously, with like Shad Khan bought the Jaguars right around then.
Yup.
And the whole entertainment district,
Yup.
they're kind of pushing that area. And I find it's more just Jacksonville in general. Jacksonville has never been like straight up. Like it's always
It's the bold
slow.
city of the South.
It's
basically.
bold. It's bold, but it's also slow. It's
Yeah,
like
it's very
slow and bold. It's just trick. Just slightly tricks along. And like everybody wanted that hype. Everybody wanted that downtown to soar. And like I think that it was kind of a bust, and people were like, well, no one else was opening up more, you didn't have any more like restaurants or bars. You didn't have that density, that kind of came with like, like with One Spark. You didn't see like those bodies all down there. It was just kind of the normal people work, people leave at 5 o'clock, and then it's done. And
It's kinda dead,
and then
yeah.
so like I said, and leases, and business is business. So like rent goes up, and business happens, and so like those other places close, and it was like, well, shit, like. And like everyone was like, oh, this would be great for 1904. Like you guys, own the block, and it's like, well, not really if there's nothing else going on.
Now people don't come down here for anything
Yeah,
else.
for other things. So it's like, and that's one of the things too, like just running the venue of being like booking the same shows. Like you need variety. Like
Right.
variety is the spice of life. So you want options to, bar hop, to, to venue hop, to see other things. And then so the idea for, like I said, like Underbelly was basically like, well, no one's going to compete with us. We should compete with ourselves because
I know, 'cause
competition drives innovation and growth. So
That's,
Like-
you convinced me of it because we were talking about it at Greenhouse Lounge rehearsal one time where I was like, why? What? So you're gonna have two bands playing at the same time? Aren't you worried that nobody's gonna come to your venue? And you said, they're both my venue.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah, he knows what he's doing.
so so exactly. So that's the idea. The monopoly. It's like, like, hey, or like it'd be like the idea you say like a Burger King and a McDonald's across the street,
But you
but
own
they're franchises, and you don't know that like
And you own both
Harry
of them.
McFatbucks owns both of them.
That's
like,
so true. I never thought about
the way
that
to
because
go,
they're
bud.
franchises. Yeah.
yeah. So like it's like but you have to have that competition. You have to have that complementary, kind of spaces. You like so that's the idea of having a gastropub, a music venue, a coffee shop, another music venue with like a different vibe. So these other things kind of all complement and will hopefully come together. Like Ruby Beach is moving downtown. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I didn't see that. No.
I didn't know
yeah.
that at
Ruby
all.
Beach is taking over the old letter shop building on
Oh, I know
Forsyth.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Good.
yes, yeah.
Across from the
That
tax club.
space at the beach. I'm
Zeta or whatever.
I
It
know
used to be
I know
Zeta.
that I'm convinced that location is doomed.
Just-
Because we used to play at Zeta. I played at Ruby Beach, and the Ruby Beach had a very cool vibe, and I was like, "There's no reason why this place should not be taken off." And it was like, it has to be the location, man. So I think
It's-
downtown might be a good spot
yeah,
for them.
I think so. I mean, their beer's good.
Yeah, the beer was great, and they had good food, and
I
the
think
vibe
that-
was always cool.
That Jack's Beach area is tough though, because like again, not a lot of parking, right? Particularly in that spot, not
And
a
the
lot of walk by
rent is
traffic.
insane.
And you
Yeah,
got
I mean,
Lynch's,
yeah.
man. Lynch's has a stronghold in that hole, which is
Yeah.
I love Lynch's. It's a great spot,
Yeah.
but it's just like people. That's where they go.
Well, like if you're not on First Street, they were like again 2-3 blocks up. If you're not on First Street on that main strip, you probably are missing half the foot traffic that you could
Exactly.
be walking by.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's no talent too. I mean, just yeah. I mean, the beer industry is hard, dude. The brewing industry is like, I mean, especially like microbrewing, it's so expensive and it's so cutthroat and there's so little margins. It's like
Yeah.
your money is in the volume. So unless you like get like a big hype and a big push to where like your beer's everywhere, making money just in your tap room, it's just like running any other restaurant. Even though you're making the beer, you technically have to sell it to yourself. You actually have to give it to a third-party distributor that then you buy back from.
That's what. Shout out to Wicked Barley Brewery, by the
Jeez.
way, over in Mandarin.
Phil, what up, Phil? Yeah.
Jen Redmond, one of the managers there as well. She's a very good friend of ours and has helped us out a lot in a lot of ways. But I was talking to her about it. She was saying the same exact thing. She was like, it's very difficult to distribute beer at this level because it ends up just being more expensive for us.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you start making beer, like
Wouldn't be surprised,
1904 beer, I will lose my mind.
Spliffs microbrewery.
You got Yeah.
You got
You're-
so many different businesses.
I know, dude, and like
But
that's
the one that you
probably
don't have.
I know
See
you're,
that?
you're probably like 100th person that's like said.
Oh, really?
Like,
Damn it,
kid,
I thought it was
why
original.
don't you get? That's why like everyone's like, are you gonna open a brewery? Why don't you
Yeah,
open a
open
brewery?
up a fucking brewery. I'll
And
be
as much
there
as I
every
love, and as
day.
much as I love beer, I have tried home brewing.
Yeah.
I am not good at it, unfortunately, and I totally respect the like art and craft of like
Yeah.
brewing. But then again, someone was like, well, no, you don't have to brew. You hire a brewmaster.
master-
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, it's a business. So,
Pay them
Yeah.
a fat salary to do it. It's
Yeah, yeah.
expensive
What
business. It
business at a
sounds
time?
like.
Yeah.
You opened up 1904, what, in 2012, 2013?
2011.
2011?
Yeah.
Okay, it's been 9 years. You got like fucking 5 businesses. Take a break. break, dude.
I know. No, there's no break, man. There is no break, dude. I mean, actually, you know, I'm hoping to take a break here.
Even during Corona, he opens up a restaurant.
Yeah.
This guy, he's unstoppable. Unstoppable.
I would actually say that you know, like it's been, I don't say a blessing, but like, you know, if you haven't taken the opportunity that this unfortunate time has given our society to make anything out of it, man. And I just feel like I feel really bad for anybody that's, you know, just sat on their hands and not have you know, self-improved some way or
totally.
or you know, put that time and that.
I feel very attacked right now.
That's well, I mean, you know,
Billy, I'm sorry, we haven't been rehearsed since March, man. I mean, I know your licks are probably weak and everything.
yeah, you should have heard me in the studios last weekend.
I
was joking. I was fucking with you.
I'm confused. Did I get to play any piano in the studio, or did you re-record all of your guitar parts for the 5th time?
Well, you
Because
gotta
they
do it
weren't
sometimes, you
perfect
know.
enough.
Sometimes you gotta do that.
I brought all my keyboards and set them up once. We were there for 4 days, Jason. All we did was guitar and vocals.
I know, dude. I know. Actually, I don't know because usually I track drums and I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. Being a
Deuces.
drummer in the studio is the best. You fucking are there for 2 days. You're like, if you don't like it, you gotta play to it. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not coming back.
Yeah,
what are you
for
gonna
sure.
re-record the whole song? I'm done.
Punch me in.
You can't punch it in, Joe.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit about your experience in promoting and booking shows through 1904, and has.
Thanks, man.
Oh, can you grab me one too, Bill? Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Ooh, what the fuck was that? I just got shocked.
Yeah, that's probably your reptilian.
You're electric.
So what's that been like for you, and also just from coming from the musician standpoint versus because there's often like a difference in perception on what that should mean. How has that changed your view of musicians and their expectations of putting on a show?
I mean, definitely, like I was saying earlier, as far as like the, you know, just the level of professionalism and for the venue itself, as far as like just the, you know, the nuts and bolts of to make the show happen. So like the equipment, the staff, having like a great sound guy like Eric, having the right staff, the right people in, and the right equipment. Like that's just like, you know, that's where it starts, you know, and then being a little more organized and a little, I think, detail oriented to the musicians. You know, when you book, I think it goes a long way. You know, there's a lot of people that book and promote shows that are just like, here's your budget, book shows these nights, and you know that's their job.
Right.
They could give, you know, they don't care, you know, necessarily about the experience of the band. They don't necessarily care about the experience of the band's fans at the venue, or you know, where like coming from a owner operator, and also, you know, I don't do all the booking, but I would say, you know, a good 40 to half the shows there I book personally. So it would be, you know, like it's my name on the line, you know, and it's like it's my, you know, and the other promoters we work with too, I've worked with for years, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with them bringing in bands and, you know, acting and on, you know, and, you know, on as part of the venue, hosting a band in my venue if they weren't, you know, good at their jobs and, you know, cared about the band. So I mean, I think the fact that you just got to care a little bit about the band and the band experience. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Pinky's out.
Pinky's out.
I think is that caring about the band experience. You know, as far as the overall event and the show, that goes a long way, because, you know, that really is, you know, one of the bigger, you know, the fan experience is one thing, but the band experience definitely, for me, and obviously for a lot of promoters and for a lot of bars, is because that goes a long way, because then those bands tell other bands about their experience, or they tell their agents, which their agents send out an email, and, you know, agents know a lot of other agents, so
yeah,
you know, it can snowball real quick, good and bad.
Right.
So I've had a few experiences where, you know, bands, you know, have had a fucking amazing time, and I'm just like, just tell your agent, you know, let the agent and the rest of his roster know how great a time you had at 1904.
That's
you know,
interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's been the biggest thing as far as like booking. What I focus on, and you know, the shows that I book, is making sure, obviously, if it's a local band or a national band, that like even making sure that they get a sound check or they get a line check, or that they're communicated to when to load in and like what the procedure of the show is going to go. And I think that's important. Like that right there is just the success of still being in business.
Yeah, totally, man. And it all ultimately makes for a better show from the band too, because if they're happy, then that means they're going to have a much easier time putting on a show. When they go up there pissed off because something wasn't communicated properly, or they think the money's not going to be right because somebody's pulling some weird shit beforehand, or just whatever it might be, it makes it much harder for them to want to give, not only want to, but just to be able to put on a good show, because their mind is somewhere else now.
Exactly. Be in that moment and, do what you're there to do and perform,
Right.
I definitely,
something I've always been curious about, just because you don't really hear a lot of people talking about this, but I think it's very fascinating. The kind of like the deal structures that go on at different levels. Like you have like your local openers, and then you have like your regional acts, and you have your national, international touring acts. How do you what are your like some go-to deals that you like to use, or what are the most interesting deals that you've had to negotiate?
The go-to deal now, obviously post-COVID, is essentially a door split, shared risk.
Sure.
That's kind of the one things I've been putting in offers for 2021, and where some offers you would maybe put in a small flat rate plus a back end bonus because it's gonna smash. Now it's like you put in a small flat rate and then you put in a fail, like if it doesn't hit this, then a minimum. And so if it doesn't do this much tickets, then it goes to a split, or something like that.
Right.
So I mean, the door split is definitely as far as on the promoter side, is definitely the easiest way, so that everybody has a little bit of skin in the game. Now if you're, like I said, a touring band, and there's definitely more expenses, then those get a little bit different. So I mean, it's just like, what is that tour going to bring? How's that tour selling? How is that artist done before? Some tours you might pay for not only the band, but you're also paying a production buyout for all their lasers and lights they're bringing and their crew. So it can be, it can itemize a little different.
Sure.
But for the most part, a lot of times how it works is, usually you get a rate on the band, add in your other expenses, advertising, if they need hotels, staffing, things like that, and that's essentially your overall cost of doing the show. So everybody's everybody's rates, what the total cost is, including rentals and things like that. That's your overall cost. So a lot of times you'll have say, hey, this is the overall cost of the show. And the funny thing is, when I first started booking was like, back end, that was like a surprise to me, because I was like, well, cool, I'll pay you $1,000. And I forgot who we were booking, but they want to know about back end, and I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, after the show meets these expenses, aren't we going to get a percentage? I'm like, no, that's my money. They're like, no, that's our money. We're the artists. And it took a minute to think about it. I'm like, yeah, I guess that, technically that makes sense. And essentially that is a door deal. That's what it is. It's a door deal after expenses are met. So
what's back end?
Back end is, so say,
I just
like,
figured it out.
yeah.
No,
So
I understand that, but for people that don't understand,
people that don't know, people that don't know. So back end would be like something. So like, the cost of a band is $500, and the cost of the crew, a sound guy, security, and your Facebook ad is another $500. So the total cost of your show would be $1,000. Now, if you can fit 200 people in there at $10, you made $2,000. So everything after that $1,000 is back end. So there's $1,000 in back end, which, like I said, as a green promoter, I had no idea about this extra. I thought that was profit.
Right. Right.
But no, it's obviously a shared profit. So a lot of that, percentages go back to the bands, anywhere from 30 to 70 to whatever, 100% sometimes, like
Wow,
some shows.
So where do you guys make up that difference if they're taking 100% of the back end?
I mean, obviously there's promoter profit sometimes built into an offer, where promoter profit is usually 10 or 15% fee on top of expenses, since essentially the promoter is putting up their money, their risk on top to cover all this stuff. So whereas, like I was saying, if your total show cost was $1,000, you would send an offer like, hey, this is the offer. On top of this $1,000, there's promoter profit 15%. So $150 is promoter profit. So then that back end is essentially starting at $1,150, not at $1,000.
I see. Yeah.
So so that's how a promoter would then build in their fee into the deal, and then everything else on top of that at the back end would get split up between the band and the promoter or the agent.
So
Awesome.
you sound like did you learn all this stuff while being a venue owner, or did you know it before?
Yeah. I definitely have sent out a few emails where I look like an asshole.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, 'cause it's like, I
Yeah.
never really thought of it like that either, at least the business end of it. So I was wondering, it's like, yeah, so I imagine, no offense, that you didn't either. That
Yeah.
You started a venue like, yeah, people just play here, and I don't need to worry.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you $500, right? Like,
yeah,
what's
$500,
yeah.
$500,
Yeah.
catch you later.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, some deals too. Like that's where like a festival, like bands have festival rates. So if you're a band and you up there on the higher ends, like you might play a club date for $1,000, but you're worth at a festival. You're playing at some big festival, and you're part of this thing where the guy's making money just on having a festival and bringing thousands of kids to a spot. And so like sometimes I know like the general rule is like a festival rate for a band is usually about 2.5 to 3 times your standard nightly rate. Because I've inquired about doing festivals. That is the one thing I've never really put together. I mean, I've thought about it.
Not yet.
Not yet. I've done some big events, some day-long events, but
I'll come to Hunnicutt.
Hunnicutt, dude.
I like that.
We can have Tupelo, have it on the have it down on the
Yeah, I'll come to Tupelo, Mississippi, and go to Hunnicutt.
Hunnicutt.
God damn.
Oh yeah. But
Anyways, if you need me to name things,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm available.
You're available.
I'm also your keyboardist in the band, but
creative.
if you need me to name songs, name things, whatever. That's amazing, though.
But yeah, so I mean, that's like the general deals you would kind of work with bands. And
What's
then,
the
like,
craziest deal you've ever had to work? You don't have to go.
I've given artists 100% of the door. It's been like, just take the door, just take everything, and like
just take everything.
just take it. Just come play, please.
On top of a guarantee, or
No. Like I mean, some of them artists are so big. It's like their guarantee would probably be smaller than just giving them 100% of the door. So like,
True.
The only way you can really approach it is
You're
like
taking all we have.
You just take everything. Just take everything, and there's other ways to make money now. So like a lot of venues or promoters like will take like on the online ticketing royalties. So what you can take is up to 10% of a ticket cost as a royalty fee. So like for 1904, our Eventbrite is set up with fees, and yes, Eventbrite does take some fees, but 1904 also gets a kickback on some fees, which sometimes can be anywhere from 5 to 10% of the ticket cost. So if it's a $10 ticket, it could be a 50-cent kickback on top. So if you see like you buy a $10 ticket and then you're like, oh, Eventbrite charged me $250 in fees, well, 1904 gets 50 cents of that $250, and then like not for 1904 is not really a big deal, but for like a bigger promoter like that's making $1 or $2 on a 10,000 seat Coliseum, it's like I'm making all my money on the ticket fees, like and then like a lot of times too, like those aren't even negotiated with with the artist or whatever. It would just be that's just a fee that the promoter or the venue has just in general on top.
Right. Well, it seems like it has little to do with the artist anyways. That's being taken out already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's being put on top of the negotiated fee. So I mean, there's other ways that you can make money. Like if you had to give someone all of the door, it's like, well, I'm gonna make $2 a ticket, or however whatever your fee structure is.
Right.
So it can work out, but like I said, for the most part, man, door deals, shared risk, because like the worst is obviously giving like a new band or a band that's newer to the market and doesn't have any pull a super huge guarantee that they don't pull in on, so it's technically a loss. But maybe having like a smaller guarantee with the back end on top just kind of gives it like, well, you're gonna give us our money to get there, and what it would normally cost for us to travel. So if we put in a little more work, promote with you, and then everybody kind kind of wins as well.
Right.
So.
I mean, I can't imagine like taking a band that's never played in the market and giving them any kind of guarantee. That's gotta be pretty
You would be
tough.
surprised how many people. There's some emails you'll get just tell you right up flat. Blah blah blah. This many. Would love to come to Jacksonville. You can get us here for $5,000. Just $5,000.
It's like, bro, I've never even
That's
heard
a
of you before.
steal.
but you have
You
to
could
think.
have us or a Saturn Ion.
Yeah.
But you have to think though how many
about it for a second.
how many emails they probably send out, and like there's got to be some like I don't know, like some like casino talent buyers or somebody that's like the hotel.
We'll take it.
Yeah, like
But
the
that's-
hotel entertainment coordinator.
5,000,
That's like
that's a
5,000.
steal.
Shit, I'm gonna put the other 3 in my pocket. They gave me
Yeah.
8. They gave me 8 to work with tonight.
Well, that's the thing. Because
You play Neil Diamond? It's only $5,000. I'm in.
Well, that's
I'm
that's.
doing this for him.
No, of course, yeah, but that's the thing that's always fascinated me about the difference between the different, the difference between like venues like what you run
Yeah.
versus and relying on ticketed shows and bands knowing their worth in the market versus just playing at a bar or like a casino. God knows I've done way too many of each one of those gigs where there is your
played a
presence.
casino?
Your presence has nothing to do
with the business.
with what's going on.
You are
there.
essentially auxiliary to
Right.
you are part of the background. You are like they're just plugging you in. You're a widget in the whole formula
Exactly.
of the show. And we're back.
So yeah, like your presence has no bearing on what's going on there. So
Yeah.
you're just like another cog in the wheel.
You are.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like. So and I remember there was I forget what we were opening up for somebody at 1904, and I remember asking, I pulled you aside and I was like, hey man, so like how do people make money on these shows? Because like obviously, and you had told me, you kind of explained very briefly what the difference
budget was.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. And then Widow from Hourglass Pub explained it very profoundly one day. She was like, well, when you open up, when you're running a business, you're selling a product or a service, you typically are doing, like, you travel around doing trade shows, right? You typically pay to get on those trade shows so people can know what your product or service is capable of, and then you can start to sell it. But until then, you have to go around and for free give your service.
Or rent a booth.
Right, yeah, rent
a booth at the trade show.
Exactly. So it's like, and I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense, because as a band that's creating something that doesn't exist, you have no market value until it's tested and approved.
And too, that also kind of goes on the finer line though of the pay to play kind of scenario, which I personally I would never like that's never happened at 1904 like for any of our shows, where like there's some promoters that like you book a big national artist and it's like they'll let you put on 2 or 3 locals. Well, there's some promoters that'll be like, well, you have to buy these 50 tickets to play this show. It's
right.
like, if you want to open up for this guy, you give me the money. You can keep $2 per ticket, but you technically owe me, $13 for every $15 ticket I'm giving you right now. And it's
Right.
like pay to play, which I mean, I can't do that. I personally find that just shitty. And but that some bands will do that. Some bands have the budget. They would consider that advertising.
Yeah.
They consider that marketing.
That's crazy.
And then you go to some cities, major markets, like your New York's, Austin's, San Antonio, or San Francisco. There's so many local bands that want to play that show that will pay the promoter
Right.
not only the cost of the tickets, but I'll give you an extra $300 to let me get my band on this show. And it's like, well, I've never been in that position. I don't know what I would do in that position if bands were throwing money at me to get on a bill.
That's true. Yeah.
I try to like spread the love around to like everybody, and
I didn't know that was an option.
Billy's like, you take checks?
Yeah. So I can just open up for anybody that
Anybody,
I
I just
to.
want to just pay. Like,
So I just give you a check.
So I just go down to dailies and just like
The money order works.
Yeah. Whatever.
I'll write you a fucking check. bud.
We'll just cut Jason a check, and every jam band that comes to 1904, we'll just open up for them.
Man.
I've got a question. My most memorable moment at a 1904, hands down, is when you got Lettuce to play.
That was amazing.
Right? It was
That was
amazing. It was about this
Well,
time.
it wasn't just me. Trey.
I know Trey had a lot
definitely
to do with
facilitated that. Had a lot to do with that passion project.
Yeah,
Paul
Passion
Paul
Project, yeah.
Levine from Swanee. I mean, I think they probably wouldn't have played, if he wouldn't have given us a little. It's cool. But there was that was one of those again failing into success, because in all accounts of that show, it was as a sold out show success, but as far as the operations, it was a total disaster.
Really?
I mean, you were there.
Yeah.
You remember the sweat box that was there?
Yeah.
Our air condition.
It was August.
Our August oversold.
Yep.
Our air condition was busted. It needed to get recharged, so it was half strength.
It was colder outside.
It was
somehow.
it was somehow colder.
In
It was
August,
raining. It was raining.
Florida.
It was raining.
And it was raining. And then you go outside, and you couldn't move. But I don't care.
Yeah, no one
And
cared.
Lettuce in 1904
No one
was
cared. Yeah.
amazing.
I remember. Who was it? Not Nigel. I'm drawing a blank. Their old keys player before Nigel Hall.
Neville?
No, not
I'm confused too.
Nevins. Not Allen. Neil.
Neil Evans.
Neil
yeah,
Evans.
Neil Evans,
Yeah. And Allen was he was in Soul
Soul Live.
Soul Lab, yeah. But he was with Lettuce that tour, and I just remember him just literally he had the headband on, and he was playing keys, and then I was on the side stage, and he would take it off and turn and just ring it out.
Oh my
Put it
God.
back on, and I was like, God.
I remember
damn.
still just so fresh in my head is somebody up there had brought a box fan that you could hold or whatever, and literally was giving it to Jesus on stage and was just holding it up to him, and he was just oh.
That's awesome.
But one of those
That show almost it didn't happen because we couldn't find Jesus to start the
Really?
show. Yeah, he was just hanging out. It was
Jesus Coombs from Lettuce,
Yeah.
not literally
not
Jesus.
finding Jesus.
Yeah, dude, we're not
Christ.
we're not looking.
Coombs.
We're not looking. We're not looking for him anymore.
We found him. He's good.
We found him.
But
Anyway.
yeah, we couldn't find Jesus though. The first 10, 15 minutes they were supposed to go on, or everybody's around to go on stage. Where's Jesus? And he's just
Oh my
out back
God.
hanging out with Florida Jack's people. He's just such a man of the people. He's just
No,
hanging
I
out.
know.
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
That was dope and also awful at the same time. It was.
It was.
I just can't believe that
Well,
happened.
we had. I think Eric told you guys about the one show we had where the singer particularly requested to turn off the air conditioning
Yeah.
during sound check.
Eric told us about that.
I don't know if you mentioned it. That has to do, I guess, not necessarily in Florida, but other states and city where it's I guess it dries out the air.
I
the
don't
air
care.
the air condition dries out the air, and I'm like, dude, this is Florida. This air is all humidity.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Literally, doesn't matter if you're inside
that
or
should
outside.
be against the law.
It was on his rider. It was on
That's
that
not
was
fair.
not our show. I did not book that show. That was an outside promoter, and that was one of those times where we had to have some words with other promoters about things like that.
What this is a two-part question. What was that? What was there a defining moment where you were at 1904, or at least there was something going on there where you were like, "Yep, this is gonna work." And then the
Fucking
second part of
made
that, what's the craziest rider you've ever seen?
Well, as far as yep, it's gonna work. What do you mean? Yep's gonna work.
Yeah,
you're
sitting
yeah,
at it and you're like, fuck yeah, this is working. You worked real hard at it, and oh my god, this is this is gonna
the
keep
1904
going.
is gonna be a staple, a thing.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it was sometimes because there was at one point one of the first shows we did. We had our first little stage, and when we first opened, so part of opening I was saying with the working on yourself by doing it yourself, and then working with an architect after the fact. It's the plans kind of didn't really work for what the space called for. So our first couple months open, our first stage we built was it wasn't as deep. It was wider and more shallow when we really needed to build a stage like it is now. And so our architect was like, you guys need to extend the stage. And we're like, well, we don't have the money to buy all that wood again and double up the stage. We kind of got, all right, so we kind of made a smaller half stage in front of the stage, and put it all together, and we're just we just need to get this to get open. We can figure it out afterwards. And one of the first shows we had there was this hip hop show with Ninth Wonder, which, if you don't know who Ninth Wonder is, super amazing producer with Little Brother, and it was pretty packed show. And he was on the bigger stage in the back, and that smaller stage was up front, and and like no one's really on it, because it was like technically part of the band or part of the artist. And the last song, the crowd bum rushes that little stage on there, and they're like standing up front on this like tiny little half-inch plywood stage that we just put together, and we're like, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. That is gonna, and like I was like waiting to see like bodies just go. Like it's like dropping in because like it's like the bottom dropped out, and so like we're in the back like that's all right. Like that worked, it worked. Oh my god! And then we fixed the stage after that, shortly after. But as far as like making it work, like the time where I think the time where I knew it was gonna work was literally like when I closed my other business and went to work for 1904 like full time. It was basically like I had missed a beer order. We had a show. I had missed a beer order because the truck was there. I couldn't get away to receive the beer order because, like I said, we all had jobs before we opened and or before we made it a full-time thing. And I missed the beer order and like hauled ass down there. And the show, like, I mean, the show was okay, but like it was just like a shit night for the bar. We could have made a lot more money. And I'm like, this is more important. Like, this is making more money. We can make a lot more money if we dedicated more time and more effort to things like not missing a beer order. And at that time, like I was like, well, it just makes more sense to, close my other business and dedicate everything to this full time. So kind of did that. And like from there, it's just been, gangbusters.
That sounds really simple, but like that is truly inspiring. Like I know exactly what you're talking about. You're just like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking doing my dream. Like this is it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it like was scary.
That's
it's scary.
awesome,
It's scary as shit. Like,
It's always scary. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, like damn, do I have enough money to make rent like the next month? Because like I said, it was a side hustle, and keeping your day job made a lot of sense at at the start. But then a year or two in, where it's like like there's some opportunity here, and that's where kind of you just have to like trust your gut and just go for it.
I'm quitting my job.
It's like what? Well, it's like what are you passionate about versus what's keeping you comfortable? It's like, do you love what's keeping you comfortable, or is it just keeping you comfortable?
Yeah.
And if the answer
That's
is
deep.
if the answer is well, it's just keeping me comfortable,
Yep.
then maybe find out what your passion is if you have one, and really pursue that, because even struggling while pursuing your passion is better than being comfortable doing something that you hate.
Yep, that's what they say. You never work a day in your life, or what is it? If you work for yourself, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that. I mean,
yeah, or if you do what you love,
do what you
never work
love.
a day.
Yeah, you never work a day in your life. I mean,
Yeah.
and that just says a lot. Like with I mean, in being a creative. You guys are musicians and artists. Like being creative, like it's the outlets are. There's so many outlets to put this creativity out there, but to make it a sustainable job, and then to make it a sustainable job that you love, and where that job's not burning you out, because that's another thing. Like after a few years, like 1904, it's like like another show, like like they're even like it's dream of it is, it's like it's still a job.
It's always
but,
a job, yeah.
It's still a job, but then then you just got to kick yourself in the ass again and be like, this is fucking amazing job. Like, what else would you ever want to do?
And then someone like you finds another thing to do and starts a new business just to keep it spicy for yourself.
Yeah, sometimes you do. I mean,
That makes sense. It makes sense why you want to keep expanding. You're
yeah.
just like, fucking it. This is monotony
Yeah.
of having amazing bands come to my venue.
I mean,
I need something new.
Yeah.
Let's start a new fucking restaurant. And then, I don't know, maybe a coffee bar.
Coffee
Coffee bar. Nobody knows what a coffee bar is, but we're the first coffee-infused liquor. I'm in.
Yeah, it's a common
I
thing.
can't wait.
In Italy, a lot of the coffee shops have liquor. It's very common. And in Europe, a lot of the coffee shops have like liquor. They'll even have like little like a bodega.
I'm already.
People are already stoked about it. Like we only mentioned it to like I think the Jacksonville Business Journal. I haven't really mentioned it to a few people. And like I got a package of coffee samples of like 8 different varieties of this roaster. Never heard of them, but it was addressed to Headroom, who
Such a great fucking name. Jason, I'm glad to be in a band with you. I will say.
Cheers.
Tony,
Cheers.
Well, no, don't you?
I'll cheers.
Don't
I'll cheers the. I'll
we're
cheers the
we're
bill.
in a band, and also I'm in a band with you too.
Hey, we can make a band together too. We can have a hustle, a real hustle, guys.
Greenhouse hustle.
Green hustle.
The green hustle.
The green hustle. Oh, I think it's just selling weed.
Just
Yeah.
call-
Yes,
at this point, you should just call our band Money.
Money.
We did
That's what
that.
it's about, yeah.
We could do it. Get Dave and Jason, then me and Tony playing lead, and have the rhythm section from y'all.
I
just call it money.
The money. They play nothing but songs that have to do with any type of monetary.
But we don't play Pink Floyd.
Yeah, no.
Don't play Pink Floyd at all.
No.
Before we get to unpopular opinions, before we get to that,
Don't say that if you're not
I
gonna
did
do
want to
it.
ask, what is there advice you can give to bands that are up and coming that before, as like from a musician perspective to the owner of venue and promoter side of it, is there advice you can give to a band starting out or any musician starting out that kind of comes before anything else?
Like
That you look for as a
like
promoter,
how to approach a
an
venue.
agent, yeah, or just anything, whatever that advice is.
I mean, that was the first thing, humble. Like, I mean, being humble and, knowing, I mean, it comes both ways too. Like, as a business and venue owner, and dealing with even newer bands, like, like a band will come up and, like, I don't know how what they're gonna bring out, or how badass musicians they are, or something like that, or what the night's gonna hold. But being open minded and being humble are probably like the two best ways to approach any situation, whether it's business, music, or whatever. But I think as far as like an up and coming band getting booked and playing shows, I mean, I think just making it count, making a show, if you're an opening band, for other local bands or for a national band, but just making it count and putting like your effort into the performance, to the night, to I mean, it goes to your fans, it goes to the venue, it goes to everything, was putting in everything you have into that, 30 minutes, at 8:30 at night, when for, the 20 people that are there. I think that, and seeing that, like, I've definitely, like, one of actually great story of one of the first bands we booked in 1904, and one of a great band here in Jacksonville, the Dog Apollo. I don't know if you've heard of those guys.
I've heard of them before.
Yeah, I've heard that name.
Very indie rock. They were I think in high school when they first played 1904. They brought their parents out, like, and it was like it was like our first time dealing with them. Might have been like 2012 or 13. And the singer Chris, I think he brought like very, very like like super excited about performing, but just very excited about just being in the moment, being present, doing a show, and like and his performance and like their whole show, I was like blown away. And I think later on, a few years later, like Tim Hall managed them for a while.
Oh, nice.
I think that's how I know.
Yeah, Tim Hall managed them, and they're still putting out music and stuff, and they've grown into an amazing, like, they've opened up, played like St. Augustine Amphitheater, opening up for some national bands. Like, they've definitely put in work. But seeing them, like, they're first starting with the dude bringing like just his friends and family out, like, and like he was like the realest, like, 16-year-old kid, just like stoked to just play a show. And like I kind of was just like, man, like, I remember that, being that young and like being that hungry, and like I still see him every now and then too, and like he still has that same like hunger, passion, and like even watching him perform, like now too, he's still just he is he loves what he does, and you can see it.
That's the way you gotta act. You gotta just be like, almost I am, that I've faked it this entire way.
Fake it till you make it.
I'm just kidding. But just be amazed at the fact that, like, holy fuck, I'm about to play here, and like I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be like
Well, it was like he was playing like a big venue like that,
right.
But just even just playing like like some of my favorite shows are just playing in the corner of like a bar like that, like like even if
I
like
just love playing.
yeah, I just love playing. Exactly.
too.
I love fucking playing music, and especially like I love it when like we play an awesome show and it's like one of our best shows. There are only 6 people there, like
I fucking
like
love
that
that
was
too,
that's like
I don't care who sees
yeah,
it.
it's definitely
those can be some great
and that's
experiences.
good for our band because no one's there.
Oh, for Side Hustle? Yeah.
Oh, not Greenhouse. At Greenhouse, everybody's there.
Yeah. Okay.
no.
Tell me that's not true.
I don't know how much they're there as much as they're present.
They are present.
They are
Right. Nice save.
And
Jason's
actually, one more question that just came to my mind.
There's a second part of that question. I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah, the crazy riders.
Oh yeah, so the craziest rider, dude, I'll never forget this. Was actually this dude Astronautilus.
Ooh, I know who that is. I know who that
I
is.
love that you named them. That's
The
awesome.
the
yeah,
rapper,
he's a rapper, and like his writer had. Oh man, I wish I still kept that email. It was the best writer I think I ever saw, but it was like a map of the world with the Falkland Islands blacked out. He needed he needed
specific.
he needed a grappling hook and a rope. he needed 3 copies of Temple of the Dog, I'm Gone Hungry on cassette.
Yeah, staple.
I'm gone hungry. Yeah,
No, I know.
he needed 3 copies of that on cassette.
Yeah.
He needed Postcards from the Edge, a movie with Bette Midler. He needed that on Laserdisc. He needed it on Laserdisc.
That is wild.
Insanely random
Laserdisc. He needed a blanket knitted by my grandma with love.
By your grandmother?
That's
the
what it
venue
says.
owner's
That's what it
grandmother.
says, or whoever was booking it. It says, "I need a blanket knitted by your grandmother with love." And I
my
gave him
God.
a blanket. I was like, "I can't guarantee you it's knitted by my grandmother."
Wait, hang on. Did you fulfill any
Yeah, I
of
was
these?
about- just about to ask
I
that.
fulfilled a good 80% thanks to Amazon, dude. I found a grappling hook, and I was so mad he took the grappling hook. It was badass, dude. It had like a 50-foot big thick rope
I didn't
and
know
a
you
claw.
could buy that.
I was
This is
like,
one of those situations where they just put shit in there to see if you're reading it.
well. So they did. That's what it was. And
Yeah.
so like I hit his agent back, and I was like, hey man, like I was like, just got this writer. I was like, I just want to make sure that like this is like necessary. Is this?
A grappling hook is always necessary.
He was like, and he's just like, LOL, man. No, we just make sure we put that in there, make sure people read it.
Yeah.
He's like, just a bottle of whiskey will do. Blah blah. And I was like,
Obviously they drink.
I was like, oh, they will do, huh? Psh, fucking grappling hook. Yeah.
You did it in spite of that.
Yeah. I did. I was like, you get a grappling hook, bro. You got postcards from the Edge on Laserdisc. Like, I mean,
So fucking funny.
Wait, hang on. You fulfilled the
yeah,
the
I did.
laser disc?
Absolutely.
As a
Yeah.
spite
absolutely.
move.
As a spite
That's
move.
hilarious.
That is the hardest
yeah.
thing to get is a fucking laser disc of anything.
Dude, it was there. It was available. The Falkland Islands, I think, was the map of the world with the Falkland Islands blacked out was the hardest because
But you got it anyways.
well, I couldn't find a map that had the Falkland Islands because they don't exist anymore.
No, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
I got that joke.
Yeah.
Like, without the.
But I found a map that had it on there, and I ordered it, and then I fucking took a
blacked it
marker.
out.
I took a Sharpie, and I fucking
What
marked it out.
happened? This is a great story. What happened when you gave him all this shit?
Oh, he was stoked. He was just like, what? And then I just kept bringing more shit out, And I'm like, wait, there's more.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, if I was a famous musician that got to do that and have all those writers that are insane, if somebody fucking brought all that stuff to me, I'd be like, okay, we're getting married now.
That's fucking.
I just found my soulmate.
You know the weird
That's
thing though
wild.
on the Universal Green Rider,
Yeah.
it's not much. It's just like some like Red Bulls things, but we always put on there grape swishers, and
Yeah.
you don't know how many people come through on grape swishers.
It ain't hard to
Like,
get. Just
it's
go to
such an
the
easy
go to the
thing to
fucking
fulfill, yeah.
7-Eleven.
Yeah,
You can get
yeah,
some
I'll
great
stop on the
swishers.
way to work
But
and
they don't
grab
get
that.
they don't get half the other shit. Like like it might not have any IPAs on there or whatever.
Like a
but
peach
you find
Dutch
some-
Master,
yeah,
please.
Yeah.
That's on the bottom of
It's
it.
on the bottom
I don't
of
even
the rider,
smoke weed, but like Jesus Christ, yeah, grape swishers, please. Well, you're in Jacksonville too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Swisher sweets.
No, these are for when we play out of town. People just like want to know, like, yeah, here's a rider, sure. Like,
Anyways, that's a hell of a story. That was a great story.
That was awesome. This next question actually seems kind of dumb at this point because that was such a great story. But for the musicians that are coming up, they're trying to figure shit out. If you've never played in a market before, what's the most creative thing you've seen a band do that worked for their first time playing in this market
That
to
is a
promote
good
and
question,
shit?
Tony.
man, that is great. I would definitely say,
Like to get your attention, you know.
yeah. Well, to get to just make
No,
a show.
to promote, yeah,
To
just
promote.
to promote a show,
I
yeah.
thought you meant to like get his attention to book.
That's a good one too, but
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I have a good story about that actually
Okay,
in a minute.
cool.
I'll tell you.
I mean, I would say, we've had people bring buses. There was this like weird Jamtronica band from Jack's Beach that would like
Yeah.
get a bus. Like they would just like it would just pile out downtown.
Are you
and
speaking about the Lucky Bus?
That's
oh,
hilarious.
that was the thing.
That
Yeah.
was me. Yeah, and that was a great
Yeah,
idea.
that was-
Do you know we had the Lucky Bus go all the way to fucking
Gainesville.
dude,
Yeah,
and
you told
back.
me.
It was $15 to ride. You could do whatever you wanted
Well-
to on the bus. No rules barred, and we knew the bus driver and everything like that. It was a school. It was a
rock
school
bus, right?
bus.
Rock 105, Rock 10 whatever rock bus. Yeah.
I don't know, but it was a school bus during the week, and then the guy
Party
that
bus
fucking
on the
drove,
weekend.
and then
That's
and then,
awesome.
then we Pockets, our manager, he knew the driver, but
Party bus on the weekend.
that's how you promote a fucking
so that
show.
actually that
Is
actually
that it? Is that
well,
really it?
Well, no, it's funny you say that though, but that crosses over because there's another awesome local band called Ask Me If I Care.
Yeah.
My buddy Raw is the singer, and he owns an awesome restaurant called THC Trap House Chicken.
Yeah,
Check out
dude. Yeah.
Trap House Chicken.
I've been
Arlington?
seeing that all over
Arlington, yeah,
Facebook and everything.
That's my buddy Raw.
I gotta go.
Oh, yeah, I
Amazing
gotta go
chicken,
there.
but he's also
Trap House Chicken. Jesus
THC,
Christ.
so
he's
smart.
also a badass singer rapper in a band called Ask Me If I Care, and
Alright.
they have a school bus, but it is blacked out, murdered out, and there's his name Vegas. But they will bring it to a show. I forget one time they did a show and they played and then they set their shit back up on the school bus on top of the school bus and just kept playing.
That's awesome.
insane. But I'm really happy that you brought that up, the Lucky Bus.
No, I mean I think things like that, like getting people to the event in some creative way.
It made us
no
money at all.
Well, but you got people there,
We did.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
looks
yeah.
good
We
in the future,
brought-
yeah.
It was insane. Like, imagine, it was at the Jam. You ever played the Jam before? Down
Jam?
in
Oh, yeah,
Gainesville
yeah,
before
yeah,
it got
yep,
closed
yep.
down? We were like, all right, we're going to play in Gainesville. We need everybody to go. And it just kind of snowballed. And we had, I don't know, close to like 30 or 40 people get on a fucking bus and drive 2 hours on a school bus to go to our show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
rest
That's a
in peace
big
to
deal.
Jam, man.
Yeah. We played the last
Yeah,
show at the
for
Jam,
sure.
too.
Yeah.
Lucky did, yeah.
Yeah?
It was
Damn,
sad.
man.
It was very sad.
So I mean, speaking of sad things as well, the light guy
Yep.
from the Jam, Ed, his wife
Don't.
died at 1904. She actually passed away. At,
I know that Ed passed away.
he passed away shortly after, but
Yeah. I
but
didn't
his-
know
but
that
his
was the
wife,
case.
His wife, he was doing a Pink Floyd laser light show.
Fuck
She was up
off.
there with him, man, and I don't know. She was just having some health issues, man. But I like to think now that she kind of watches over the venue, as like a venue, because that's what apparently was. That's
They
what
were
she did.
They were both very old. No,
They're
no
very,
offense,
very, yeah. They're a little older, and they had some health issues. And I know down at the Jam,
Ed ran sound
Ed
and
ran
lights.
sound and lights, and she would
And he
be
was
there,
fucking
and
old school and awesome.
Well, and Bilsker would tell me, it's like she would be like, kind of like the eyes, and like, be like, yo, these people are doing some sketchy stuff. And
Yeah.
like, she was just a really good person, and like, the
That
fact that she
sucks,
just
man.
passed out right there, right at the front door in 1904. I'm just like, man,
Jesus.
yeah. But rest
Man.
in peace, man. Good people,
Well, fucking hey, man.
good people. Sorry to bring it down,
No, I know.
No, no.
down on that
Whatever.
level, but
Well,
we
I'll,
reached every range of emotion in this podcast. We might as well get to the.
well, real
Hot
quick,
takes.
though,
Hot
you
takes are
did,
mortifying.
you did ask me about creative ways to get booked, and I remember when I was first trying to get booked at Dunedin. Michael, shout out to Michael and Bryant, by the way, fucking awesome dude at
Yeah,
Dunedin
Mike's
Brewery
great.
out there. They're fucking awesome. But
chicken wings.
yeah,
yeah,
dude.
chicken wings. They have a vegan sub now. Looks
It's
so,
actually
or,
pronounced
a po' boy.
vegan. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
it's pronounced vegan. Okay. So
That's how you piss off any vegan.
but like when I was first reaching out there, he was very hard to get a hold of, and I wanted to play there so badly. So and this is a shout out to Chris Poland, sax player,
you
Parker
ever
Urban
play there,
Band, Tom
Jason?
Bennett Band.
Fusebox Funk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
piss off-
So he told me about this way he got booked at a spot in Pensacola, and I was okay. I'm gonna try this out, and I sent Dunedin the top 10 reasons why you should book Anton the Plume Band.
Like
This
David
is before it was
Letterman?
side hustle. Yeah, and like just every day sent him another reason. Reason number 1, no response.
you didn't-
Reason number 2,
You didn't do it all at once.
no, just every
Oh,
day
yeah,
was a different
yeah,
one.
because you wanted to sit at the top of the email inbox. So I mean, that's like the terrible
Yeah,
thing
if
is
any-
like sometimes I've missed emails just because it's like fucking buried, and you're just like as a.
It looks generic.
It looks
You
generic.
gotta stand
yeah.
out.
Or just
You
like
do.
you said, it gets buried, or you get busy, and you just forget to get back to people.
Yeah.
Your job is very difficult to keep on top of that kind of shit.
Well, and as bands like, and that's one thing too. Bands like sometimes bands feel like it's pushy or whatever. I don't feel like it's, but as long as you're respectful about it, be like, don't mean to blow you up, and it's like, Nah, dude, like, please, dude, you are trying to, like, we're trying to make money together. Like, let's do it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm doing other shit right now. It's me. So, like, like when bands are, like, consistent and, like, like on top of it, I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. And that's
What were the 10 reasons?
I don't
That's what I want to know.
What's number one?
It's on an email. It's saved though, isn't it?
no, probably not. It's like 4 years
Was the
ago.
last
Mike, you still got that out there. Just gotta
Was
send
the,
it.
was the last reason is that I've got Bill Begley in my
No,
band,
you weren't in the
and-
band yet.
and-
You weren't in the
and-
band yet. You
Yeah,
weren't in the
well,
band yet.
that's
And you
how
like
we-
to shred
that's-
keys.
That's how we got booked.
If you like to shred keys,
because Mike plays keys. And,
Yeah, yeah,
and-
yeah.
Actually, you might have been in the band at
I
that
think
time.
it's a virus.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I was like, hey, I'll let
Can
you play
say
on my
that? Can
virus.
you say that now? Or
What?
do you say you have a
Oh, you
virus?
can't say
I got it. Virus TI2.
well,
Not Terminator 2. Total integration is what it stands for. I would not recommend getting that keyboard, by the way.
but wow.
It sounds great, but fucking A, does it break all the time. Don't take it on the road. Keep it in the studio. That's what I would
But
say.
Mike actually got back to me by email number 8. He was he's like, yo, that's fucking hilarious, man. What date do you need? I was like, yes.
That's a really good idea.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I didn't want to try to get booked at venues, and it's hard to get in touch with the person to
Copy-paste
do
that
it.
to every
Top 10.
venue.
Top 10, and also just don't take that personally, because most of the time people just get busy and shit, you know.
There's
There's
man
a
like
lot. There's a lot.
Jason
There's a lot of.
gets-
There's
going
a
on.
lot of emails that come in. One of the best things I think I remember seeing was the MySpace days was for the old High Dive in Gainesville.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I pissed
yeah.
them off so
Oh
bad.
man! But before it was High Dive, it was called Common Grounds. And when it was Common Grounds, on their MySpace thing, it had like what to do to get booked or to not get booked at and it's like
That's
like
pretty smart.
tips for bands or whatever. And like one of them was like, do not come knocking on the venue door at 2 p.m. before when load in the email says 6 o'clock. Yeah, it was just like this whole list.
Because somebody's done it before.
Because somebody's done all this shit before.
You know what my favorite rule at Freebird was? On the website?
Don't
It's-
talk to Les.
No, it was not Les. Les is a great guy. But
Love you, Les.
but it was no chewing gum is the rule at Freebird. And I thought that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, on the website.
On the
yeah,
website.
yeah. I always thought that was kind of
It
weird.
was 12 or older.
Yeah. I always thought it was
You
kind
could
of
be 12 years old and go to Freebird. That was the rule.
Uh,
But then like bullet 2 was no chewing
no
gum.
chewing gum. I mean, yeah, that is a hazard in the
Like it's
nightclub
like it's
life.
fucking middle school
You don't
or
know how
something.
much gum I've scraped off the bottom of that bar.
I think you know what they were just tired of it.
I
think
understand. I
That
understand it.
weighs real heavy right now, specifically.
Oh,
with
well, yeah,
coronavirus, you know?
Yeah, for
Maybe
real.
they're onto something.
For real, man. I want just spitty gum all over my.
If Freebird was open right now, I don't care about it. Like it was just grand opening. Like I would get coronavirus to go to Freebird. I miss it
Jesus
that
Christ.
much. No offense to 1904. I love
Agreed.
1904.
Agreed. No, I agree. I totally agree with that.
Fucking it, just to stand on that balcony again. God, that was the
You
best,
try
right?
to smoke a joint, dodge security.
Yes, dude. Oh my God. It was, all right, whatever.
Just
Living in the past.
live it in the past.
We gotta wrap this up soon. so
It
let's
went
get to
by
them.
so quickly. Jason,
Man,
you're a
we did.
wonderful
Yeah.
guy.
You guys are great. It's great hanging out with y'all, man.
Hell
I
yeah,
know.
man.
Thanks
for
being
coming,
on,
brother.
man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being on. It was a lot of fun.
While we do our unpopular opinions, maybe think one to yourself.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So unpopular opinion number 1. Hold on, let me see. I have to go first, so I'll go first.
Go first.
Billy looks better with long hair.
Thank you. That was a burn.
Yeah.
I think that I look good with hair.
I'm gonna agree with that. Actually, the first time I met Billy, he
I've
had
always
that
had
mop.
long
He
hair.
has always had that mop.
I like the
Yeah.
mop.
I
Right?
like the. I feel like anytime the mop, it was like party time, and I feel like professional Billy here,
this is too serious for you.
I feel like it is. I feel like you're gonna start talking to me about like my 401k. And
I
like,
will.
Yeah, we
yeah.
definitely
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Like my future investments. I don't know. Like
Still do that too.
All
like,
right.
luckily, like we've done drugs together, so I would never ask you if you're a cop.
That
but,
is awesome.
you know,
I'm business Bill, not party Bill.
not
right
party
now.
Bill.
Well, your attire would say that you're like a homeless farmer, and your hair says that you're, I don't know, like a financial advisor at a
Yeah.
bank.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, like
Fidelity.
maybe grow the
Fidelity.
map, maybe grow the mop back. I don't know.
it's coming back. I'm just trying to say it.
I'm working on my mop, dude. I gotta.
I like it. It
I'm
looks
trying.
good.
I'm trying,
I
man.
dig it.
He's got both y'all have great hairlines. I don't.
My hairline's not that great. It's been
Yours is impeding. Some people have receding hairlines, like I do. Yours is coming forward.
That's good.
It looks like his.
I'm not complaining.
You don't have any peaks. You're clean.
It
Bro.
looks
I'm
like
cool
his
with that.
hair
You
is
Greek?
taking over
Am I
his
Greek?
face.
No, I'm Cuban and
Cuban.
Italian.
Okay.
Yeah, Italian.
It looks
Like a
like
Greek god. Yeah,
I'll take that. I like that.
your face is half hair.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
If I don't
it's
shave it, I should go up to here.
It's
I'm the wolf man.
Yeah, the cheek beard.
Yeah,
All right.
man.
Unpopular opinion.
Number
Damn,
one.
Your handwriting is awful.
Atrocious. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Band leaders suck.
Yeah.
I mean,
Coming out of you with that
Brian
hair.
Setzer. I mean, come on now.
I'm just
I
saying.
love Brian Setzer. He doesn't know who that is.
Brian Setzer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to go to college with him. Hey.
Yeah, okay.
Look, I would say band leaders suck. Why are you in charge of everything? You don't. It's not like
Because someone's gotta have a vision. You
we
know what
all
I mean?
have visions.
A lot, not necessarily, yeah, but a lot of people don't know how to follow through with them. There's one thing I've learned about musicians. For an industry that requires you to be so self-reliant, they're the most unreliable people in the world.
Band leaders?
No,
Or
no,
musicians?
musicians in general.
Okay.
So you gotta have somebody. It's like any other business. You get like, and Jason can tell you this. Not everybody can have a say in everything. Some shots just got to be called by
Do you know who you
by
sound,
one or two people.
Do you know who you sound like right
What?
now? You sound like Stalin. Right
That's
now.
like a band,
You
like a
sound
band leader, maybe.
you-
I don't know.
you-
Like someone who's trying to run a business. I don't know, maybe.
You sound like Saddam Hussein.
Dude, Saddam and the Rocks, man. They had
Is that a band name?
Yeah.
Saddam and the Rocks?
Yeah.
I love. That's hilarious.
That's fucking great.
That's
Is that really a
hilarious.
band name? That's not a band name? Holy
that was a
fuck.
good. That was a good one. I believe.
Let's change our name. Saddam and the Rocks. Oh my god, that's the best band name I've ever
It
heard.
could be
Saddam and the IROCs.
Yeah, I know exactly. That's what I thought it was.
Because it could be and or it could be in. It's still hilarious
No,
either
just,
way.
no, just
Because they found him in.
just
you know,
spell
in
it
the
R-
Rocks. Yeah, exactly.
it's Saddam and the RAQS, like
I
the
mean,
rocks.
But it could be again the and the in are interchangeable, which is hilarious because
It
they
goes
found
both
him in
ways.
rocks.
It
you know
goes
what I mean?
both ways.
Anyways,
Well, we all know he's still alive too. So I mean, we can just.
him and Bin Laden.
Yeah,
are still
they're
alive.
they got a new album coming out.
They're dropping a fresh album.
Dropping that new trap.
It's called the Hussein Bin Ladens.
Oh my god.
Anyways, unpopular opinion number two.
Hold on. Not unpopular opinion. Great, we can joke about Islamic terrorism in a time of COVID. Just saying, it's refreshing.
It is
Yeah,
refreshing.
it's refreshing to
Yeah.
joke about
Yeah.
Islamic terrorism.
It's nice
Yeah.
to be worried about
Yeah.
something else. For
Yeah,
God's
something
sake.
else besides, the sniffles. I'm sorry.
The sniffles.
Oh, good lord. All right.
Feel that.
I'm going to have to cut that out. 'Cause we're going to get fucking murdered. And besides actually dying of a disease.
Okay, it's actually a virus, not a disease. Anyways, my second unpopular opinion is your uncanny ability to just derail a conversation. I love that about you.
Oh, you love that?
Yeah.
That's your opinion that you love it.
Yeah, I love
that.
that
I'm
you.
bad at.
No,
talking.
No, but you're good at derail. You're saying you're good at something.
I feel like you're being very sarcastic.
Oh, you're
right
good at derailing conversations, and I love that about you, though. I love that.
I don't.
I love having. Like, a
I feel
thought.
like
I love having like a good stream of consciousness, and then you just come in like a fucking rock in the water and just break it up. You know
Yeah,
what
so
I mean?
I feel like
You're like a dam in the river. That's what you are. And I
I'm
love
just-
that about. I love
beaver
that about
dam.
you.
I-
Yeah, you're
I-
a beaver dam.
I feel like this isn't a compliment.
No, I love that about you.
Yo, you do?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay.
I love that being able to finish a thought.
All right. Well, what's my next unpopular opinion? Hang on. 1 second. My favorite thing about you, and this is an unpopular opinion, is you don't care what anybody says about you, and you don't care what you look like all the time.
I love that about myself too. Actually,
I mean, yeah, I would say, yeah.
It's just
I
like-
agree with that.
Yeah.
Fuck everybody, dude.
It's great. Like all these people constantly are just like, why are you hanging out with him? Like, why would you be in a band with him? He's like, he's the worst looking person in the world, and it's just awful at everything. I'm like, I know, but like, he's such a good person.
But he doesn't
It's
care.
what I say to him. But what's so great about it is he doesn't care.
I don't. Yeah, I love that about myself.
He doesn't care about.
I thought that was supposed to be a burn. That's actually a really good. That's
It's a
really
compliment,
good.
dude. I don't know if that's an unpopular
not,
opinion.
That's not
like,
a character flaw
Yeah.
at all. Actually, I'm into that.
that would actually be some advice to bands. Fuck,
Yeah.
the,
Jason,
fuck,
you're not helping.
Fuck what everyone
You're
thinks.
supposed to be working on an unpopular opinion. Right now. fucking
Fuck
be
what
on my
everybody
side.
thinks,
Come on,
and,
we're in
like,
a band.
If,
You
and
two
going
aren't.
back to the band leader thing, when people talk shit about you in your band, because they will, just don't care about that because it's just part of the territory. Anyways, unpopular opinion number 3 for me is you're a failure, right? He's just
Period.
Yeah, period. Just
Period. Okay. That wasn't an adjective. That was just a noun.
yeah.
That
Yeah, that's
you think I'm a failure?
yeah. I don't know that could be. I guess I don't know if that's even an opinion. That's just what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what okay. I haven't had anybody say that to my face before, and I guess this is the first time. But anyways, I'll go to my last unpopular opinion, which was I don't really like swimming in the ocean. Which that was mine. That was my last unpopular opinion. So,
I guess I would feel like a dick right now, but I don't care what anybody thinks about me, so I'm good.
I feel like we both had a little back and forth, and then I don't know what game. Why I'm not a I don't know if I'm a failure or not.
Is that an unpopular opinion, or is that a?
I feel like most people feel that way,
Uh,
but yeah, that's okay.
I got one here. It's more.
Oh,
of a,
yeah, Jason's
it's more
got
of a just the grinds my gears kind of topic of the
really grinds my gears.
of the times we're in. But I don't know. This Corona thing has just made everyone think that they're a chef. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, everyone's getting into cooking now. You should see
Everyone's
Sean,
into
our bass
cooking.
player.
That is true.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
even know that was the reason why. Well, it's because
You're at home. Yeah, I get it. You're at home, and you get some shit, find some shit online, whatever, and like.
I literally did everything you're talking
I
about
just
right now.
don't know. Like, or you get the HelloFresh meal kit delivered to your house, and next thing you know, you're just like doing a photo shoot with
Are
your
you
fucking
good at
food.
cooking?
I mean, I can cook.
You gave us some jerky today. That was
That shit was
yeah,
fire.
you
tastes
know,
like
I
eating roast
I
beef.
dabble. Actually, I mean, did we try the hot sauce? Do you guys want to try the hot sauce?
Yeah,
I
Yes,
didn't
you
want to
wanna try
open
the
it.
hot
'cause
sauce.
I didn't know what the
You want to
deal
do it on
was.
camera so you guys can die on camera?
No, I don't.
yes, do it.
It
I'm
said
down.
ghost on it, and
Yeah, it's
apparently
ghost pepper.
I don't
it'll
believe
fuck
in
you,
ghosts,
you
but
know?
it's that I know that if ghost is
that'll-
on hot sauce, it's bad.
That'll make you see Jesus.
Going back to cooking and everything like that, are you kind of like an elitist about it? And you're kind of like
No,
mad that other people are cooking, and you're like,
I'm just more
oh,
of
you
a.
just figured this
I'm
out.
just more of along the lines that I think unfortunately COVID and 2020 and isolation has given people more time, and then with the reinforcement of social media
Yeah.
to put whatever you squirted some fucking fancy ketchup on your like thing #chef life, and then like you've never been on a fucking line in your
I
to
did.
save your life, like you've never been
I
you
took
never
a picture
operated
of
a fryer
fucking
like
steak dinner, man.
and you-
I'm guilty of this. Like, yeah, I grilled a steak and mashed potatoes and corn on the cob, and I took a picture of
took a
it.
fucking picture and let
I want to
everybody
kill
know.
myself. This is stupid. I'm a failure.
No, but I don't know. It's just one of those things I've just noticed. There's been a lot of like a lot of cooking segments on daytime talk shows.
That's all you can do.
Hey, I mean, yeah, it's all we can do right now.
It's all placating to
But you're not a chef, okay?
Okay,
Let's just
yeah.
go ahead and say that. Like
There
chef,
you go.
know how many like bouts with alcoholism, depression, and like a chef. That is a fucking earned title. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
a real art.
That is a
What's
art.
alcoholism?
I don't know. A bunch of quitters.
That is true. There's a bunch of quitters for sure.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, there's been a lot. It's been a crazy time for people to just have way too much time in their hands and just.
I get it.
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate it. Hey, hopefully, man,
That would be a good.
but-
That would be a good fucking foreigner song to cover.
Which one?
bout with alcoholism.
Yes.
Speaking of foreigner, I did not realize till recently their collection of hits.
Oh yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, they're
Oh.
they're insane. They don't need to worry about making
So
money ever again.
I was watching the documentary about them too, and I guess they're the two leaders, the singer.
What's it
and
called? I want to see that.
It was on Access TV. They were just going over like bands, like kind of
I see.
an hour long thing. But they were talking about like the singer and the guitar player were like the songwriters, key songwriters.
Yeah.
But at a point, I guess here recently in the 2000s. So they had the new singer come in, and then the original guitar player was there. But they did a tour where there was no original Foreigner members. Ticket sales for that tour were higher than any of some of their other tours.
Really?
Didn't you go
Just
see that?
none of the original members, but just goes to show you how much of a staple and ingrained foreigner songs are. And if you don't even need the original band to be there performing it, you just go with your friends, and
That's my go-to sound check is when they're trying to get the keys right. I just go dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Cold as ice. Yeah.
Yes.
Foreigner kind of
So many hits, dude.
Foreigner's all right.
Fuck. So
Pump out
hard.
hits for sure.
Yeah.
They
have-
sell tickets.
They have
to
tickets.
say.
Listen to Foreigner 4, that album. Like, you can get it for 50 cents at Goodwill. There was a billion of them produced, but like, it's got so many
But
good hits on
the
it.
thing about too, just where they were as like that kind of like arena rock ending of like
got
the
one
like
guitar.
yeah, dude, come on, bro. All
right, I got it.
Oh man,
It's good. I like Foreigner. A lot of people don't. Go fuck
Actually,
yourself.
they're
They're the American AC/DC. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, they're definitely better than AC/DC. Even though I love AC/DC more. I like AC/DC
I'm
more.
not gonna compare
It's
them
more
to
my thing,
anything.
but-
I'm just
but
saying they're the
yeah.
American version of it.
as far as hits though, I mean Foreigner, come on,
Yeah,
hits.
yeah.
That'd be a good
Yeah.
discussion. But
I have an interesting conspiracy theory
Oh, yeah?
similar to what you just said about Foreigner.
it about the
because
CIA
there was,
again?
No.
Okay.
There was no original members when they on the last tour. They just sold tickets. I think that's what Wolfpack is secretly trying to do. Because I saw that fucking Halloween when we played there.
Yeah.
And these guys were dressing up as each other, playing each other's instruments, and just doing it. And I remember watching that, and I may or may not have been under the influence of something. And I remember watching that. I was like, oh, these guys are just trying to.
It's a deep fake, dude.
Yeah,
It's a deep fake.
because what they're trying to do is just have other people be them
Yeah.
while they and go on the road.
Who cares?
And then
It's
they can
Voltec.
just stay in LA and just
It's
do their
Voltec.
studio
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
You know what I
absolutely,
mean?
yeah.
And there's double dipping here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
so they
get some young guns to just go and pretend to be your, like you.
yeah,
because
and the thing is,
it's
Skim
not-
off the top, take their 15% promoter profit.
exactly. While they're sitting and making
Okay.
like fucking like writing hits and playing on other people's records for fucking. I'm just saying,
No,
bro. They're double dipping. And, like
No.
you couldn't tell them apart visually first. And second, they all play each other's instruments exactly like the other person plays it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It's just like, oh, yeah,
Weird.
these guys are just. I don't know. It was a conspiracy theory.
that's the same thing as like, oh yeah, LeBron James has a body double and he's just chilling in LA.
It could be.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, this has been a great episode of Bottom
Great
of the Bill.
episode.
And we
I
want
love
to thank
this
Jason
episode. It's one
Hunnicutt
of
for
my-
being
Cheers,
on.
It's not
guys,
my
man.
favorite. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Thank you, guys.
It's been
man.
awesome,
It's
man.
been a blast.
Hell yeah.
It's been a blast.
Alright.
Make sure you support Spliffs in the
Oh,
new
yeah.
location.
Yep, 100 East Forsyth, 2 doors down. We're open 7 nights a week till
God, I wish it
1:30.
was 3 doors down.
Yeah,
That'd be
I know. I technically it is because
Okay.
there is a side door part of Spliffs. So if you
Alright.
counted it, it would be.
So it's
3
3 doors down.
3 doors down.
It's super, man.
Took me a second there. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, jeez
And then also
1904 and Headroom Coffee Shop, hopefully coming online next
I
month,
can't
September.
wait.
And then
Underbelly,
Underbelly shortly after October, November, and we're all on the downside of this peak, and music is coming back at one way or another. So it's either going to be sit down dinner shows, and you don't get to stand up. I think that's how it's probably going to start. Like table shows. And,
oh, I love that. Sounds
yeah.
awesome.
I actually-
Billy hates
I'm
that
actually-
idea. I love
Grandpa,
that.
you
I'm
would
actually,
love
I'm
that.
actually looking forward to it. I've actually been in contact with some different bands and like comedians. That's another
Yes.
like style that would fit that format. So I mean, we're adapting. We're gonna make it happen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited, man.
This conversation can go forever. But that was one of my favorite shows is when you had Mr. Leahy and Randy.
Oh, dude. Oh
That
god.
was so great.
The last
Rest
one
in
the
peace,
last
Mr.
one.
Leahy.
Yeah, Mr. Leahy, man. Mm.
But anyways. All right. Well, we'll end it now and adios, muchachos. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes.